Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to PTS Stage 1 of Season 3. Are you sitting comfortably?
What is this?
Okay, then I'll begin. First thing we're going to look at is the maps that will be seen on the PTS. Remember, before I even begin this is all PTS stage. We will be doing updates to performance
Weekend camp
throughout the
soling.
entirety
Weekend
of the
number
PTS
1,
and make sure
667.
so we don't
Number
have too
1.
many issues going into
Thank
the
you,
live
Twisty.
version. The first one we're going to look at today is the new Conquest map. You've heard all about it. You've seen some rough ideas of what's been going to be happening inside the PTS and on this new map when it hits live. So we're going to have a little look at the in-game footage right about now and tell you all about it. First thing to talk about is the layout changes. The jungle has had a few layout changes, most notably the main buff camps are now more open. This
That's a massive buff camp.
It'll allow for easier invasions and easier escapes for you doing your buffs instead of being pinned into a pit and
interesting.
dying early on. Obviously, you can also put the pressure on and go for invasions because you'll be able to see them doing their buffs a little bit easier. Jungle camp changes overall, however, we will see a removal of the purple buff. The attack speed buff is no longer in the game. That's right, you honkers
Weekend
over
camp
in the dual
soling.
lane, get
Weekend
used to
number
having lower
1,
attack speed
667.
early on. No free
Number
buffs
1.
for you anymore.
Puzzle,
There is
welcome
going to be
to the Weak
experience
Nation, man.
camps there for you, however, but they're not going to provide
They removed
any
purple
attack
buff.
speed
Not
buff.
that big a deal.
The speed buff, as you can
really
see,
don't care.
this has been moved and changed.
This is
The
important.
speed buff is now split among 3 minions
It's
surrounding
3
the
hit?
fire
That's
giant.
gonna insta-die.
Picking up multiple copies of this buff will stack in place up to a maximum of 3. Well, obviously it's going to be 3. There's only 3 on the map, right? For a maximum of 21% movement speed and attack attack speed.
Ricard, you can if you want.
Okay, and attack speed. We're going to be doing both of those. So, junglers, live out to their heart's content. Mercury's going to have a field day.
I'm
I expect to
fighting
see
for
solo
speed
laners
all
wanting to
day.
fight
My
over that
speed
one
buff.
too. And
Not
the
giving
reason
that shit
solo
up
laners
ever.
will be wanting to fight over that one is because the blue buff has also been moved as well. Shockingly enough, blue buff is not definitely going to go to the solo laner anymore, as it's been moved to the location of where the speed buff used to be.
Don't go on a solo laner.
It's still going to have the mana regeneration on it as well. However, it's in a different position now, so we may see that go towards a mid laner, maybe to the jungler, but during the early stages. Or
If you lose blue speed, you might take blue as a jungler, but it's gonna go to solo laner
other
probably.
things to mention to do with the map, well, you can see some boars on the map now, so we've got a few new different jungle monsters for you to deal with as well. Obviously, as I said when I began this
I hope they fix the range creeps. Did they remove them? I didn't even notice.
We're going to do
range buff camps need to be gone.
updates, and all the buff and timer icons will change as time goes on during the PTS. Next up, we've had a little look at the Conquest map. Now it's time to look once again at the new Joust map. Chinese Joust map is here. Everyone's been very excited for it. And we're going to go straight into this and see exactly what you're going to see.
That looks like an MMO.
Here. It's going to have a new
like
layout
this
and a
video
new
thing they're showing looks like
Obviously,
MMO-ish.
it's Chinese base. You can see the Jade Gardens on the map there as well. Fly over through, you can see the phoenixes, towers, and the actual Titan have all changed as well.
That's cool.
But on top of that, you'll also see a new jungle boss. Upon defeating this,
jungle
enemy
boss.
towers are disabled for a short period of time. This will stop the turtling
That's
so much
awesome.
in the game.
Oh my gosh,
It'll
that's actually
allow
pretty cool.
some early game gods to show a little bit
But is that
more
going to be in
aggression, so you don't have to
3v3?
wait till the late
That's
stages
huge.
to be able to, you know,
It'd be fun.
defeat them and hope that they make mistakes. Obviously,
Hey, you see Sprint? It looks different. Sprint look cool.
Pathways behind the Phoenix, behind those towers for easier ganks, and obviously those walls can be jumped over from multiple locations. So I expect a lot more aggression on this map. So with this new update to the Joust map as well, you can clearly see we will be keeping an eye on the performance of this map to make sure that it's going to be good, and any changes will continue to be changed throughout the PTS. If you've not seen the cinematic that we released earlier on though, let's have a little look at that right now and show you what it looks like in all its
Kid Puzzle,
beauty.
thank you for subbing, man. I'm flying. Flying on a bird. Oh wait, that was supposed to be someone calling, okay. Yo, if Medusa could really do that, that would be awesome. If that was the execute, or she like an execute ability, that would be so cool. Yeah, purple was removed from the game. Speed is now 3 little smaller buffs that can stack, and blue buff is moved to a different spot. As well as red.
And there you go. That was the Joust map, the cinematic trailer. Anything you want to add to that, Pon?
It's real pretty, like super pretty. About it.
That's community guide for you. That's all the knowledge he's going to have on this desk today. However, we are also joined by Hyra Scott as well, who's going to take us through with Pompon everything to do with the patch notes, and just so you guys at home see exactly how many of these cards we're going to have to
Sorry
go
about that.
through
Fire
today.
alarm, GG.
It's going to be a long day, boys and girls.
Yeah, I think you said 28.
Yep. Well,
28 tosses.
as I said, make sure you're sitting comfortably and you need some cocoa or something. You've got a moment or two now, but we're going to begin right away with Season 3 changes. The first thing to talk about is going to be the Relic system. Now, we did name this Trinket originally.
Yes.
But why did it change to Relic?
It actually came from one of my Twitter followers. We were going to call it Trinkets, which is a fairly common term across a lot of different games. But it was just on my Twitter that Relics, and a lot of people liked it, and we liked it, and so we changed it.
You hear that?
That's the way we do things.
Hyra Scott actually reads his Twitter and takes your ideas, so just give him a follow. That was just
Yeah, that was a
very
fire
good
alarm.
plus, that
It's
one.
fine. The smoke alarm. Sorry, smoke alarm.
So, Relic system, first of all, active items are now called Relics. We're going to see Relics are going to be free as well, so you're not going to spend any money on these whatsoever, and you're going to get one at the beginning of the game. Only one, though. You get your second one at level 12.
Hitting level
It's gonna
12
be the big
fast is going to be
difference there,
huge.
As well as Relics can no longer be ranked up to higher ones. So when we say Relics are not going to be ranked up to higher ones, does this mean it's only going to be like a rank 1 version of these items, or are we looking deeper
Not
like rank
quite.
3?
It's more like they're kind of more on line with rank 3 power with kind of a longer cooldown. So rank 3 in power, longer cooldown to kind of balance the fact that you get them really early.
Okay. And you, like I said, we can only take one. Do I have to take it right at the beginning of the game, or can I wait?
Getting
like,
it at
level
level
2 to see
1,
how the
most
game's
people are going to
going?
have to get
You could,
beads.
if you want to, you can wait a level or two, maybe see what the other guy picks as his, kind of play a little bit of mind games. There's certainly some play there.
Oh, you can
Awesome.
wait
We'll
to
go a
get
little bit more in
actives too.
detail
That's
about what
interesting.
those actual relics will be a little bit later on.
I don't think I'd
Daily
wait though.
Quest is the next thing to talk about. They're going to be in the game on the PTS as well for you guys to test. Give them a go and see exactly how those ones play out for you. You're going to get favor and gem rewards for doing those, and we
Daily Quest for
basically get some
gems, that's
feedback
cool.
on the PTS
You'll get
about
free
how they're
gems.
working out.
Take it.
As well as a new landing page. Instead of the 3D landing page we once had, we've got a new special one for you, so we're looking for feedback on that one as well, going into the PTS, and we'll see how that one plays out. Card one down, guys!
Yep, we did
Right.
it.
How many
On our
cards
way.
does he have? He's like 40
Starts.
cards.
Okay, miscellaneous changes next. First thing to talk about with this is where we start getting into the nitty gritty of the patch. Really, changes to lifesteal. So, what's the changes really going to be here, Pon?
So basically, when you used to crit someone for like 1,000 health while they only had 200, you
Okay.
heal for that 1,000 damage you dealt.
Right.
Now you only heal for the 200 you did to kill the person. So now you can't over lifesteal from actually like getting the killing blow on something.
Makes sense. So we're just going to try and reduce lifesteal down as a
That's-
whole. People
That's
trying to,
good for
like, continuously
creeps.
stay really healthy.
That's good
like,
for really good for
marginal
creep
damage
lifesteal,
most.
but that's not for
So
really
change
killing
the
god
lifesteal in
lifesteal.
effect, as well as a new highlighting option. Highlighting options are now determined by shader settings. New highlighting option now used on high shader. Current highlighting option now used on medium or low. And bracket 2 highlight and bracket 2
No
now
idea what he's
displayed through
saying. There's a
walls.
new
So there's going to be a
highlighting
lot of
system.
differences to do with the highlighting and targeting of
Weird.
Yeah, I
ones.
think the 2 big points there is we have a prettier graphics.
PTS
option
isn't going
that
live
we can
tonight.
try
This is
that
just
we
patch
really
notes.
like and thinks it highlights really well. But the second is that
Late
highlight
game
now
lifesteal
works,
won't be
if
as
you have
OP
visibility someone on the
when
other
you
side
like
of
go
the
to
wall, you can tell
lifesteal
if you highlight
creeps.
them with an
That
ability.
lifesteal change is just
And so I
kinda
think there's still a few bugs
weird.
there, there's still a few abilities that aren't quite working
Well,
right.
this is why it's PTS, right?
Yeah,
and that's why we're going to
it's-
test
we're
these
gonna
out and
test
make sure
it,
they're all
yeah.
tweaked, ready
But,
for full release in the
yep.
next season. So that's new highlighting options, and we also have co-op difficulty settings improvements. Hey, maybe the bronze players won't be bronze anymore.
Ouch.
Oh, sorry, was that too soon? Too soon? Well, we get to that later on. Anyway, AI obstacle avoidance improvements. So is this like minions can now like jump over Thor wall and things, or?
No, I think this is just it's an optimization to the way different AI moves around.
Okay.
I think the big note there is really just make sure nothing looks weird on PTS.
Awesome.
If you see people walking backwards or sideways or something strange,
Yeah.
then let us know.
Let us know ahead of time. Also, buff icons, unification, and simplification. We talked about this previously, but we're looking at trying to make things look very, very clear at what the buff icons are going to be in game, and the debuffs as well.
Yeah, so we started actually making that pass, but they're not fully done yet. So
Okay.
on PTS, you might see some spells and abilities that haven't got the treatment yet, or they haven't been unified. But we're going to be working through that for like the next PTS phase after this.
And you'll see the PTS
These
update
changes are
as
like,
time goes on as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
irrelevant.
We also fixed an issue where reporting a player grays out the report button of other players. So now you can report 2 teammates or even 3 instead of just the 1.
Yes,
I like it.
we
I
fixed
can
the bug.
report all
But
of you
we've got
guys
an
now.
even better
It's
one.
shit on.
This is my
Let's
favorite
go.
thing in the whole PTS. It's going to be when you mute a player, it now includes social emotes.
Yes, I don't have to listen to
Bravo,
someone
boys.
laughing
I'm so happy.
or
with it.
spamming
We
anything.
finally don't get laugh
Hi,
spam
Riz.
to
Yeah,
death.
You
if
did
you
something
don't
right.
want the rock like laugh that
Can you do that again?
happens.
That was so good.
No, I'm not
Yes.
gonna do that
They
again.
need to,
Hi-Res.
because they need to make a sound.
It's
clip for
huge.
this. There we
Okay,
go, boys and
Bon
girls.
Bon, just
So,
stop.
no laugh
Just-
emotes will be in
we're
the game
done.
anymore if you do mute a
Yeah,
player.
you can mute me. That's exactly what you
Mute
can do.
That's right.
now.
everybody.
You could mute that.
Yeah.
We
if
can
needed to.
mute Pom
I hope you do.
You just ask
No,
us
no,
to-
you don't get it again.
So that's miscellaneous. And now we're on to the actual relics
Big
themselves.
changes,
The
let's
active
go.
items now renamed to relics, and we're going to give you a quick rundown of each of these. The current cooldowns that they're set to. Remember, this is PTS though, guys, right? So some of these could change. They could become stronger or weaker as time goes on.
Yes.
Yes, lots of adjustments.
First one to talk about then is going to be teleport. Using this item allows you to teleport to an ally tower or a ward without damage interruption. While being unable to move, you are still interrupted by hard crowd control effects, just like all teleport them. This is currently set to 180 seconds, so a
It's a
3-minute
long cooldown. That's
on
a
this one,
huge
and you can get
cooldown.
this at level 1, just like all the others.
That's right.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh,
it's a prime
people
example.
aren't going to be
It's
getting
tier 3
teleported
power
as
that you can
much.
teleport towards, and it doesn't interrupt on damage, but it has
People
longer
still get it, but not
Same
a
old
3-minute
teleport, though, guys.
cooldown. That's a
Obviously, 'cause
long
you get it at the
time.
beginning of the game, I can understand the longer
That's a
cooldown
really
there
long
as well.
time.
Players would have crazy shenanigans at level 1 going on
Yep.
the whole time. Next thing to talk about this one will be a bit of getting used to. It used to be called Purification Beads. It's now just called Purification. Little change to this as well, because obviously it's not a tier 3 beads anymore that we're used to from Season 2. Using this
Oh
item will
my
remove crowd
gosh.
control effects and make you immune to new ones for 1 second. It's
There's a
currently on
3-minute cooldown too?
160-second cooldown,
Or almost
and
3
that doesn't
minutes?
include cooldown reduction either, like the old beads of Season 3 did.
Yep.
So it's a little bit. It's a little bit of a nerfed
Whoa,
bead.
beads
it's a
are
little bit of a nerf,
so...
flip a nerf. I think as we go through more items, you'll see that we've added a lot more crowd
Wow.
control reduction in other places.
Mhm.
But
You might
yeah,
not
for
need
that
beads
particular-
anymore.
Awesome. So that's
If the other
purification.
items
Next
are
one
good,
is
you might not need
Sanctuary.
beads.
Used to be called Aegis.
Yes.
Now called Sanctuary, and if anyone who really knows, it's like moving Aegis is the best way to explain this. Using this item now makes you invulnerable to damage for 2 seconds, preventing you from attacking or taking actions.
Oh
You may
my
still
gosh,
move,
dude.
obviously, moving Aegis, and the cooldown is currently set to 160 seconds at the moment, so
Yeah.
around just under 2 minutes.
Yep,
So
pretty much.
3 minutes.
Yeah, just another
Math
3.
hard.
It
Yeah, I'm sorry,
happens.
I'm not good at this. I'm not a balanced person. I just like play the game and complain.
That's insane,
Um,
dude.
That's Sanctuary, so pretty much the same as what we expected. Like, there's no real changes to that one, but we're not going to have like the.
Can I
the
move my
normal
webcam?
Aegis
Yeah,
anymore.
what?
You can't
Yeah.
just stand still and
In a second.
receive no damage.
Yep, that doesn't
That's right.
exist anymore.
Awesome. Next one, Blink. Blink. Using this item will allow you to teleport short distances instantly. You must have not taken damage
Good
for
save.
5 seconds? These
Yep.
cards are so small today. 5 seconds before it can be used. So it's 5 seconds and it's a 120-second cooldown
Yes.
on this item. So it's around 2 minutes,
That's right.
which gives a bit of
Blink
a window
didn't-
without
I don't know.
having
These are so
purification
weird.
available
I don't know
and
how this is
Sanctuary
going to affect
available too,
everything,
which is
man.
good, but long enough that you're not going to see everybody buying it.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting things is because you only get really one of these at the start of the game. If you're gonna play aggressive,
I don't know
you
what
gotta make some
active you're going to
decisions about
start
what you
with,
wanna play.
dude.
Agreed.
You might not
Like, you
get
take this at level
beads, you might not
1,
get
so it was only,
blink.
like the first one, then
This is going to
you
be
have a bad time if you
weird.
need purification later on or Sanctuary or.
There's such long
Teleport.
cooldowns. Like, these choices are so
Guys,
weird.
smart. Time goes on. I mean, you were not smart to begin with. I mean,
No, that's fair.
whoops.
That's fair.
I'm a little
Okay,
insulted.
next one is Curse. Now, this reading it looks like Weak3n Curse, pretty much from what we call it.
Yep.
It's now
Yeah,
called Curse.
it's pretty much weak.
For simplification, use this item reduces all enemy gods' ground speed by 40% in a
That's pretty normal.
55-foot radius around for 5 seconds.
Longer
Their
cooldown
healing
again.
is also reduced by 65%.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
60. So we buffed that a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, since the last time it was in game, it was 60% originally, right?
Mhm.
Used to be 100, then went 60, now it's 65.
That's 65. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit of a buff.
Cooldown 2 minutes.
And it's not 900 gold anymore, so it's,
And it's
Exactly.
free.
it's free.
It's free. Oh, you can begin the game and kill half.
This is so
Pretty much,
weird.
yeah.
Good.
That's a good
We
that's a
can
strategy
level
there.
1. Let's
Walk
go.
into lane.
Level 1
Move the
weekly.
healer,
Let's go. Man, that
done.
invade
I
sadness.
didn't through the card.
That'd be
That was
awesome.
the other thing in the card. That's the most important one. Scout is the next one. Upon activation,
Scout?
you may place a single sentry ward. Sentry ward? Ooh, okay. The cooldown of this relic resets upon returning to your fountain.
What?
Let's check something here with you guys.
Yes.
It's a sentry ward, right?
No.
Is there a limit
Okay.
to how many of these wards I can place on the map at any given time using this?
It's still the same limit as
So it's
if you
two.
had purchased them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's still 2 wards
and
for
this-
you. I just wanted to check because, like, I'm like,
I can
if
place a
buy this,
ward and then
put a
back
ward
and then
down,
place another
base,
ward?
Put a ward down, base, put a ward down, I can get a million wards
Yeah.
on the map.
It's still the limit.
No, you still have the same restriction. Yeah, this is us really trying to bring back a different version of Eye of Providence. I think the problem we always
That's
have with
gonna
Eye of Providence
be
is that it wasn't really cost
potentially
effective, certainly not
really
900 gold to
strong,
get to
potentially-
centuries, and
I
what
don't
we're
know,
looking at is
man.
now that it's free and now that we've
Free
added some
rewards
functionality
for a
being
whole
able to refresh
game?
it
You don't
and
even pay for
make
the
it a
active, dude.
cost-effective
You get
item,
free
it is,
rewards an entire game.
you know,
Free
in
Sentry
multiple
rewards.
stages of the game, but certainly also for our players that are learning how to ward.
Completely agree. I mean,
I'll
it's
get it in a second.
270 gold as well that
Thank
you're
you.
going to be saving on Sentry Wards. So you place 2 wards, that's 270 gold that you're not having to spend.
And if you
yourself.
take out a ward, you get another 50 gold. So
And you get it
it's-
for
yeah.
free because you're not paying
Exactly.
for your actives anymore as well. I mean,
So
actives,
we'll see.
relics,
We're-
relics.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that we're really going to look closely at to see if it works out or not.
Okay.
And if it does or doesn't, we might shift or move it, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see how that goes. Next one up is Wrath. Using this item deals 480 damage in a 15-unit radius to a single enemy minion or jungle monster. Target is always the one with the highest maximum health. This item deals 1,000 damage to jungle bosses. Subsequent effects from your team on the same target will deal 50% damage. Oh my god, that seems so OP. Wait, guys, this is Hog, okay? Before you all
Yeah,
say...
that's literally
I just
Hog.
I knew chat when I was reading out would be like, what the hell? What's it? It's Wrath of the Gods,
Yeah,
right?
Wrath of the
It is.
Gods.
Yeah, it's all.
Old Hog, 60-second cooldown. That's quite
Yeah.
low.
I actually think it has some utility here
Yeah.
because now if it's late game, you're like, okay, maybe we can actually steal something. Or you have like an ISIS you want to secure like really hard with the
You
objective.
can do early
can now probably pick
objectives
this
'cause
up
you're getting
later
rank
early
3
if you wanna
for
try and get
free.
Some early invade strats. It doesn't have that same gold deficit that it had before to invest all the way up to that point. And so I could actually see some strategies developing around this kind of idea.
Makes sense. And with that as well, I mean, like some of the weaker junglers or the ones that
Mhm.
struggle in the jungle early on will have that effect.
Free Hog,
pretty
man.
low as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see how
Hog
that one
might be
works out
back.
for the Wrath.
Maybe.
Next up is going to be Sprint.
Maybe.
Sprint's still in the game, obviously. Using this item increases your ground speed. And you're excited for this one.
A little bit. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
He's happy about
It
this
increases your ground speed, guys. That's what Sprint does.
A
And
huge
allies within 55% for 40 seconds. Sorry, 40%. 40 seconds.
Yeah.
40% for 6 seconds. It also makes you immune to slows for the duration.
It's basically it's not sprint anymore. It's heavenly
It's like heavenly
without
Heavenly
extra
and
healing.
Sprint.
Okay, and that's going to be on a
kind of.
140-second cooldown as well. So just
Interesting.
over 2 minutes
Yeah.
there at the moment is the position
A
for
long
that one. So we're
cooldown.
still going to see it being effective for helping the movement speed and the allies as
Slow
well. is a good
immune's
one, I think.
huge, but
Yeah.
it's
It is.
long
It's really
cooldown.
big, and I like the idea of that just being again something that you could freely step into, whether it's your second one or your first relic.
Having Heavenly early and all these
last
actives
one?
early is
Not on this
broken.
card. Last one on this card is Shell. Using this item gives the owner and his allies 45 protection buff for 5
And
seconds.
15% reduction?
Also, all damage taken is reduced by 15%.
Yep.
Cooldown 140. So
That's
that's
a lot
all
of
like old
reduction.
Shell.
It's shell.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
shell.
We can get this at the beginning of the game.
Oh my
You want to
gosh.
choose it?
A lot of damage
You
you're
could
not taking,
potentially have a
man.
strategy where you could take that, protect yourself in a fight, but then you're gonna have nothing else for a while. So that's really what all these actions are. They're really powerful. but
Don't run into me on PTS. That's all I'm going to say. As a main support player, don't run into me on this. You're going to have a bad time. I'm excited for that item. I would love to see some strategies around that too.
Yeah.
I think we could actually see some very aggressive strategies early on.
15%,
But then
that's a
again, if you
lot
don't
of
take it your first
reduction.
one, your second
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
that'll be very strong.
These
as
actives
well,
are
because,
also
you know,
good
late
but
game,
bad at the
jump
same
queens on the
time.
board
Such
there.
long cooldowns. It's so strong.
Press it and
Yep.
laugh, pretty much. End of that card, we've got a few more
What's up,
relics to go
Scott?
through as well, which is going to be Frenzy. Using this item gives all allied gods in a radius, 70 radius, 20% physical and magical power buff for 10 seconds, and deal
You
an
do
additional
20% more
20% damage
objectives?
to objectives as well.
Mhm.
120-second cooldown. This is pretty much like support, Girdle support, was it? I believe it was.
yeah, it's kind of like Girdle support, and it kind of has a new identity as this is the thing you're gonna pop when your team's trying to take something like a tower or a gold fury or fire
It's
giant.
like a hard push
Yeah.
scenario.
Yo,
which
this
I really
game,
see
Smite's
now.
gonna change
Before it was
so
kind of- it
much.
kinda
All
acted
these
as a counter
actives
shell
are
where you got power for
potentially
longer
used in
duration
some
than
kind
it,
of
but now it kinda
strategy.
has a new identity as this kind of objective taking thing.
It keep
Oh,
using
this
two
is
different
strange.
Yeah.
aspects as well, I guess, because like for a team fight and then also for objective taking as well. Could
So
hand its
every
place
active
down
could be
quickly.
picked up for
Next
some
one,
reason.
meditation. Hey, it's getting the game. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. Using this item restores to the owner and his teammates 35% of the owner's maximum mana.
Meditation's
So
still
to
average.
the whole team, it's not like their individual mana. It's just the owner's mana and 15% of the owner's health. And cooldown is 120 seconds.
Yep.
As well.
Yep.
Okay, so med's still in the game. Assault players, you'll be okay. You can still play with your tactics. If you DM Brandon and you want to run Hercules and get this at level 1, go ahead. You can still do it.
It works.
And the final one is a new one.
Yeah.
Who designed this one?
Actually,
I
this
know
is a
you've been excited about
We'll
this
say
one, that's what
it's
I'm
a team effort. It's
So
a
is
team
it
effort.
whole team
Yeah,
effort?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So no one's going
yeah.
to take responsibility if
What
this
is
is
this?
OP. However,
I mean, I think
nobody can take credit if it's everyone loves it as well.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
That's the mistake you make. You see,
I
sometimes
think-
you put yourself on the line. And
I think we all walked out of the SWC and said, you know, we want to add this one.
Okay, well this one is definitely, I want to call it, it's called
What is
Summoner,
this?
I want to call it Tank Shredder, personally, because
Mhm.
that's what it feels. Fires a bolt that deals 40 true damage plus 14 damage per level and reduces the target's protections by 25% for 4
That's a
seconds.
tank killing item.
On a 120-second cooldown.
They added a tank killing item.
Yeah.
This is good to stop, like, warriors dominating forever. At least for, like, 4 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
It's so much like Nemesis ult, though.
In our internal testing, where
It's just like
you
Nemesis
kinda have
ult,
the
but
mages,
worse.
It kind of gives them a little extra poke in the,
Good point.
in the
Yes.
solo
They
lane.
literally just put Nemesis
We've seen
ult
some really
inactive.
strats that haven't been actually too powerful, but it's happened, as well as the fact that it can miss. It's a skill shot. It's a line skill shot.
It's a
that's actually
skill
big
shot?
Thing, for
What
a
the-
lot of our actives now, relics. There wasn't really miss cases on them. There are a lot
That's
of
true, yeah.
AoEs, and this is actually
What?
just a normal projectile shot that you
No.
can definitely miss it. And so there
I'm
is a
predicting
skill
now
element there.
nobody's
You
buying
always
that
like-
active.
Alright, that makes sense, 'cause, like,
Nobody's
it's got a
getting that
give and
active.
take
It's not
with that, so
happening.
to speak, as well. So you can see,
Nope.
like, it's like almost an extra
Nope,
ability
nope,
in your
nope,
kit to deal
nope,
more
nope.
damage, but
Yeah.
you've got to land
That
it as
active is
well,
gonna
so
get tweaked.
we'll see how the one plays out. That's the end of all the relics. Don't forget this is PTS though, guys. So some of these things may
No
change.
one's buying that
cooldowns may
item.
go
It's
up or
getting
down,
getting
damage
tweaked. It's gonna get
variations
changed.
may go
Calling
up
it
and
now.
down as well. Just gonna keep
Yeah, and
reiterating
over
that the
time
whole
we might also add more and shift things around. I think people are gonna notice that we're missing Shield of the Underworld right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think a few people would have.
Yeah, that's a really bad
Might
active.
have noticed.
I think.
It's an
I think
interesting
it's pretty
item that was
trash.
a little bit controversial, so I wouldn't say it's gone for good. It's just gone for really our first round of testing, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Yep.
Final thing to note on this guy is going to be consumables. Sentry wards have just had a vision reduction from 60 to 45. We're just trying to make it a little bit less safe on the map at the moment.
Yeah, it's essentially matching wards to the base ward.
Awesome. And with that, that's the end of that card. And the next thing to talk about, that was a terrible.
They're heavily weighted.
I'm
There's
not
so much
Bar.
information on them.
I'm just not Bar, okay? I'm
Look
trying
at how
to
many
get this
cards
not-
he has. He's like 50 cards. Defensive?
Okay, that was the end of that. Now let's go on to defensive items. The first major changes to items. We're going to talk about the defensive items and the trees that they're in as well. What's the main focal point with defense this season, Pon?
So basically, a lot of items gave health and defensives, and those kind of are really synergistic stats that like you get a lot of benefit when they're together.
Yep.
And so we've kind of separated them now. Getting health and armor at the same time is really rare, and so items are more focused around counter building and picking what you need versus just getting everything.
I want to grab my
more
dinner
about,
real
getting
fast.
Health,
Grab my
if you
dinner
want
real fast.
health, and then armor if there's gods in the enemy team that are causing you issues physically or magically.
Yeah, that's right. There's still items that do provide protections and health at the same time, but
Okay.
it tends to be in greater measure of one or the other, not so much as on equal terms as it had been.
Because I mean, season 2, by the end, you were looking at like 2 defensive items, and then you could build full damage if you wanted to, because
We're
you
back.
had all the defense you need just on 2 items.
Pretty much.
So with that being said, then let's go through all these items individually. For the most part, you'll see me pick up all my cards because there's a million of these too. It's going to be the breastplate tree first of all. It's a separate tree, and we're going to see breastplate of valor first of all. Reduced cooldown reduction from 25% to 20. So, but from what just
20,
from that,
that's
is
such a
it
weird
gonna be
number.
harder to hit that 40% cap as easy this season?
It's going to be a little bit harder. Most of the things that cooldown came down by about 5% on what it used to be.
Awesome.
So it's going to take a little bit more to get there. It might take an extra item.
3 items pretty much.
Yeah, we kind of just want
No
to say
more
if you're going
cap
to build
CDR.
full, max CDR, then you're going to need to.
No more
invest
cap
more
CDR,
into it.
boys.
Makes
That's
sense.
huge.
So breastplate of valor obviously goes down from 25% to 20%, and we're going to have spectral armor is the first new piece of itemization in the game. It now
Look at that.
branches off the silver breastplate. It has 80 physical protection, 300 mana, 25% crowd control reduction. You just said it went down. That's 25% on that one. I'm just saying. And it's got a passive of lifesteal is 50% less effective against you. And each time you are hit by a lifesteal effect, there is a 30% chance you gain an additional 20
That's a huge
physical protection
anti-hunters
for
item.
5 seconds.
Wow.
This cannot happen more than... Oh, thank God you
They
put
nerfed
that
the
in.
shit out
This
of
cannot
lifesteal.
happen
this
more
patch.
than once every 20 seconds. And it costs 2,300 gold.
So it's worth noting that it's crowd control
Crowd
reduction,
control reduction,
cooldown
not
Did I say
reduction.
cooldown? My bad.
Yes, big difference.
Guys, it's not cooldown. I was about to play Helen, I can't read today quite clearly, but it's crowd control reduction. So,
Crowd control reduction is
can be
huge,
something in
too.
the game as well.
It is. There's a
25%?
lot more items now that have that as options in there.
Awesome. So we're going to see like tier unkillable because you can't really see the top, right?
Sure.
But we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yo, you
Is
could
that-
have
that'll be
tier
fine.
with you
But
could never get
25%
stunned on
crowd control
tier.
reduction, not cooldown. Chill out, chat. I can see you.
You're gonna have, like,
Stop
half a
please.
second
It's
stuns on
okay,
tier.
Yeah, I know. That's the first one to talk about. Next one is Hide and Dominion Lion. Is still in the game. Now branches off the silver breastplate, however, no longer provides health, is the big one here. Increased physical protection from 80 to 90, so a little bit tankier on this. Now provides mana as well.
Where are the health items?
Decreased price, though, because of that health loss I feel here, from 2250 to 2200, so 50 cold reduction here. Still has the same passive effect though, right? So it's still going to reflect damage back.
That's right. That's right. This is just much more focused down to being a counter to basically physical in-handers.
Awesome. So 2 items there. A little bit better. I'm getting there. Iron Mail tree is the next tree to talk about here. So we mentioned that items that both have health and physical protection in large quantities were extremely prolific. We're going to try and neutralize that. So with this tree here, Steel Mail, the starting one is going to be reduced physical protection from 40 to 20. The Mystical Mail, which was the tier 2. Sorry, Mystical Mail is increased health from 220 to 300.
Whoa, there's like
So
no
it's a little bit more
protections.
healthier here with less physical protection. And
That's gonna be
physical
weird.
protection on that item as
There's gonna be
well,
lots of
60 to
combos of
30.
like
So Mystical
Mystical
Mail,
Mail
still gives the
and
damage aura
that
as well.
cooldown
Auras
reduction
haven't
item,
changed, but
like adding
health
them together.
increased, physical protection's decreased.
Exactly.
Midgardian Mail, the next one on this tree, reduced physical protection from 60 to 30. So once again, going to have the health, but not as much protection. I like this dynamic where we're not going to see, you know, 2 items and you can't be killed for the early game. This is good. Sovereignty, though, this is the next one, which is towards the supports. I think there'll be a few complaints here, potentially. Reduced protections from 50 to 30. However, we've done a bit of a switch here, haven't we, with the auras. The passive aura now provides 20 physical protections and 25 HP 5. Originally, that used
Now
to
it's
be
physical and
that's
physical.
magical protection.
Yeah,
Used
it
to be
used to be a little bit
magical.
of physical
Oh,
and a
wow.
little bit of magical. We've kind of repositioned it to solidly
makes
be
sense.
physical protection.
And I'm guessing we're going to
Now, if you want physical, supports can actually get
Yes,
fucking
sir.
That's
physical and
perfect though,
physical.
because I think like you got the best
pretty
of
big.
both worlds with just one item sometimes instead
Yeah.
of having to invest deeply into one. So little change
No,
there.
I like
Sovereignty,
that,
obviously,
actually.
the physical protections
That makes
overall
sense.
reduced, but because the aura is now on this item, it kind of still the same physical protections overall.
Yep.
Next one is where'd you get
No,
that from?
I'm gonna hold on to mine. It's precious to me.
Next one is Glowing Emerald Tree. Glowing Emerald. Oh, yeah. I'm just making sure I've got
yeah.
these cards in the right order here.
It's a new tree.
Is it a good tree?
Well, it's a new tree.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
new tree.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that.
One thing to say too, there's
Yeah.
you know, kind of don't mind the mess on PTS. A lot of these new items don't have icons yet; they have little question marks,
Okay.
and that's just because that's coming.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things you guys will see in this PTS that look rough around the edges.
Well, that's what PTS
but
is for,
that's
though,
right.
right?
That's
That's the
right,
whole idea.
We want to get the early feedback. So.
So Glowing Emerald Tree, the new tree, and the starting item in this tree, the tier 1, is going to have 100 health, 10 HP 5 for only 750 gold. The tier 2 that now branches off the Glowing Emerald Tree, is Emerald Talisman is a tier 2. It no longer provides magical protection, increases health from 100 to 200, and increased HP 5 from 15 to 20.
That's a lot of
So
HP
it's
5 and
coming
mana.
more in line with what we just saw of the physical defense items. Gonna have some
These
health, magical
combos of
protection,
items are
whatnot.
gonna be so weird,
No,
dude.
Well, this one.
Oh, so it's going to have the
yeah,
magical protection, that's right. It's just going to be health.
It's just
Right.
health. This tree.
Health and regen. The whole tree is health and regen. Stone of Gaia. It
This
had
is
magical
new and
protection.
scary, by the way.
Yeah.
Having a whole tree that's health and regen. It's
So,
like
so to clear this one up, Stone of Gaia, his health is increased now from 100 to 350.
That's right.
No magical protection on it, but he still keeps the aura, aura that he used to
How?
give, the
The
passive,
passive,
sorry.
yeah.
How much
passive-
health are you gonna be
So
able to
he
get?
still
health back.
regens.
which is more effective now because the item also gives you more health. So
Yeah.
it plays
point.
a little bit better against itself than it used to.
That makes more sense. And then obviously there's also Silver Mail, renamed to Emerald Mail.
Yes.
No longer silver, it's emerald, to go with
Yeah.
the whole idea of glowing emerald, guys.
I mean,
Okay, it still goes cooldown.
It now
That's
branches
good.
off this tree, no longer provides physical
Oh, there's
protection.
no protections. What
Cost
the
has now been
fuck?
reduced from 1515 to 1400.
There's no
So a nice
protections
little
on
gold price
Mail
there.
of
And now
Renewal.
provides 10 HP 5 on this item as well.
Yep.
Awesome. New tree there. Next one is Mail of Renewal. I got it. I keep like, there's so many cards. I'm like, giving up.
Yeah, Mail of Renewal also got moved to this tree.
yeah.
Well, I was going to
So,
say, Mail of
yeah.
Renewal is also on this as well. Now is the glowing emerald tree, like we just said. No longer provides physical
10?
protection, reduced cooldown
10%?
reduction. It does say cooldown reduction, okay?
Oh, it's
It
yeah,
says
it's cooldown.
reduction.
Yeah, 10%. What
From
the heck?
15% to 10%. Health increase from 250 to 350, and also gives 10 HP.
10%'s
back.
too low,
Yeah.
boys.
So this item took some hits, but is it still going to have the aura on it as well?
Yeah. So it's
These
like-
items are
I've
probably
seen
still
all
going to
of
be
them.
good when you pair
So
them
they
with
really
other
kind of-
new items.
Last season, right, it kind of got a buff and it kind of came into the meta where it was this health item gave protections, and every time it procced because you had protections, it was just better and better. And so now it's more just positioned as a, if you're doing well, if you're getting kills, if you're getting assists, it's going to regen you in the same way that the new Stone of Gaia will, in the same way that the Gauntlet Thebes will. So
And I can agree with that, especially because it had physical protection on it as well,
Yeah.
which kind of just made it like you're a tank and you also get this benefit of extra health
Yeah.
after a fight too. So
there's different ways of essentially kind of restoring health depending on your playstyle.
I think Mail of Renewal is probably not going to get picked up very often.
is this right on the card, right? Got Gauntlet of Thebes.
Oh, that's yeah. I alluded to it last time, or like 10 seconds ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Go-
It's,
Is it as bad as... okay, let's just read it, okay?
Some say this is a curse.
Is this
item.
better or worse than the last attempt we did at this one?
The
I would say it's better.
it's hopefully a lot better. The last attempt was a dark time.
This Gauntlet
Shout
of
out to
Thebes.
Hercules, he loved that. Gauntlet of Thebes branches from the Emerald Talisman tree still as well. It has 400 health. It has 25 HP 5.
Oh my god, that's a lot
and
of
it has a
health.
passive that increases all healing received by 20%. Break down the all healing received part. What does that include and what does that not include? Just so for the people at home.
It should include
Hercules gonna like this.
For example, Rod of Asclepius currently does. So
Okay.
that should be regen, healing, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so like
That's a
internal
lot of
healing, so for
health,
example, if you get
man.
healed by Ra, that's going to increase the
Yep.
healing by him.
That's
What
a
about,
lot
like,
of health
if you
on an
know
item for
Vigilance
someone who
is
heals.
that going to
Yep.
increase that as well? Okay, makes sense. And cost of that
Like,
is going to be
does that affect Shing
2300.
10? Like, will Shing 10's passive
That
get
doesn't
extra
seem so
healing?
bad.
It's a good note to say that all the costs on these items is still in flux and very much
So-
being changed.
It is PTS, so these items could go
Yes.
up or down in
But yeah.
cost. If not, the items will change
Yeah.
overall.
Hopefully it's not
Yeah.
too bad.
And
Hopefully it's
so-
not like the old.
And so in this tree, it makes a lot of sense, right? Where it's if I'm the Chakra Herc, I might pick this up. If I'm the Vermont that's stacked a whole bunch of health, I'm going to pick up the Stone of Gaia.
Mhm.
If I'm kind of a assassin that's looking for a little bit of health and I'm going to be getting kills and regenning, I might go for
Tanks are going to be way
That's
more
true. They all
intricate in
kinda
their
feel
builds.
their own.
That's one thing that's really
And
cool
also,
about
like,
these
if I'm an
items.
assassin and I've got a healer. on
Even
the
if they're
team,
still
I
OP,
can
at least won't be the
potentially
same builds every game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
See?
Yeah.
And that's a better card for
That's good.
I'm getting there now. Talisman Tree is the next one to talk about as well. We're still on defensive items here so far, just so you guys know.
There's a lot of
We'll be
so
here for
many
a long
item
time
changes.
tonight. That's what I say. Get the cocoa on, you're going to need it. So this tree is now more focused on magical protection and health, which is
Yes.
what we expected. It's going to be a little bit less health, but more magical protection. Is that the idea behind this one?
Mhm.
Pestilence. Decreased health from 300 to 200. Increased magical protection, however, from
good.
65 to 80.
Pestilence is okay.
Still going to have the effect of reducing healing of targets around you.
Mhm.
Heartwood Amulet is the next one. Reduced health from 300 to 200. Reduced magical protection from 50 to 40.
Still good.
And the passive now provides 20 magical protection and 20 MP5. So this is
Yeah.
just tied in with what we said about sovereignty earlier
That's
on.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's a
Same
little
version.
bit more magical protection, I think, than you had before if you got the item.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where Sovereignty actually went basically even at 50. This has 10 extra.
So this is a little bit of a bonus to the Heartwood
Yeah.
Amulet. Okay. And it's still got the 20 MP5 on that one as well, so you'll still see people picking up for the team utility of that one. Bulwark of Hope is the next one to talk about. Reduced health from 450 to 200. Now reduces crowd control effects by 20%.
Bulwark of Hope is good now.
20% crowd control reduction. Passive has been changed. When you take damage and are below 30% health, you gain a shield with health equal to 150 plus 15 per player level. Can only
Bulwark of Hope's
occur
gonna
once
be
every
good now.
60 seconds.
I'm about to buy some Bulwark
How
of
do we feel
Hope.
about that, Zone? What's the reason for this one?
So especially when you're low, and kind of what Bulwark did was it essentially extended your health pool.
That's true.
This does it in a different way that's a little bit more visible, and it kind of makes sense. Like, okay, I know how much it's actually affecting me.
That
And
makes
the other
sense.
important thing to note is if you drop below 30 and you don't take much damage and that shield stays, it's staying.
Oh, it stays as
Yeah.
well? That shield will like, and then if you regen afterwards?
Yeah, so it will stay there until it either refreshes on itself or it goes away. So it has an additional benefit where if you actually get to hold on to it and you get away with that, you actually could be potentially. come
That's
back with a little
awesome.
bit extra.
They
That
actually made a
sounds
cool
good.
passive on an item.
Because I think it's it's a fun mechanical change to play with, but it's also whenever you can convey something more visually to players and they can see it and kind of understand the effect.
That's
Also, 'cause enemies
awesome.
Or even for enemies.
Even
yeah.
for enemies, just to be able to.
This
say,
would be
like,
so
it's a
strong
shield,
for
it's a shield,
tanks,
no,
but
You
it's
might not notice
awesome.
as an enemy that are taking reduced damage, but you'll notice when that
Keep
shield comes on.
keep the shield up
Nice.
even
Being
after.
honest,
Like
generally,
if
you'll
your
get
shield doesn't get burnt through, you're just gonna have the shield. It gets burnt
That's
through.
true.
That's
Our
awesome.
next tree is Enchanted Kusari Tree. Did I say
Yeah.
that right? Kasari.
I think so.
I am the worst person on pronunciation.
I'm going to be
so,
guessing. I'm English.
Yes,
I'm terrible.
you need to talk to Tina or Fishman if
I've
you
been-
want to.
I was born a butcher as an English person, so we're kind of used to it here. Enchanted Kusari Tree. This tree provides new options for magical protection and MP5 regeneration.
Mhm.
So the whole focus of this is just magic and MP5. There's nothing else that's going to be really in here.
I believe it has some crowd control reduction. If I
Yeah,
remember
this
right.
is definitely a tree that's
it's a
focused
full
on.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a look through it then. Enchanted Kasari, which is, I believe, the tier 1 version of this. 30 magical protection, 5 MP5, and costs 800 gold. Then, when we look at the tier 2 versions, it's going to be Spellbound Kasari.
More
50
crowd
magical
control
protection,
reduction, dude. Can you get like
10%
100% crowd control reduction?
Reduction.
I'm about to stack crowd control reduction and not
That's
get
gonna
beads.
cost around
GG, let's
1250
go.
gold at the moment. Then there's also Genji's God, which by the looks of this, it looks like this is a tier 3 from the Spellbound Kasari, is 18 magical protection, 20% crowd control reduction, 20 MP5, but it has a passive as well, guys.
Yep.
Your HP 5, you what? Your HP 5 is increased by 150%, and your movement speed by 20%
Oh my gosh!
for 5 seconds.
That's a lot of
upon
regen if you
taking
stack
magical
if you
damage.
stack HP 5, that's huge.
Only occur once every 30 seconds, but wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You could be like fast as lightning.
There's
with
gonna be
this
so
and
many
regen forever.
strategies
Yeah, I
with
have no
these
idea what this is
items,
gonna do.
dude.
It's gonna be.
This is what PTS is about, though, right? That's the whole idea of like throw out the PTS and find out what works. But pretty sure this is going to work.
Yeah.
150% movement speed. Sorry, 150% healing, HP 5,
ECR.
HP 5, and movement speed by 20%.
Yeah, I think this kind of exemplifies what kind of the new defensive items are about, right? You can build that HP 5 health item and then pair it with this, and then all of a sudden they just are working together really, really well. You just had to invest in 2 items to
The
actually build
But
combos
that's what we're
of
talking about for the whole
items
season.
is
Making sure you
massive.
go deeper into a pool to get the effects that you really
King
after.
10 could have like
Next
8
one
billion
is Oni
regen.
Hunter's Garb. Is it Oni?
it. Oni.
Oni? Oni?
Oni? Yeah, we just covered. I'm
ONI.
really bad.
ONI, guys. Oni. You choose. I
You
don't
say
care.
H.
Hunter's Garb.
It's okay.
I'm a cast. I'm just going to call it Garb. Like,
We
we
can call
always
it
take,
Garb.
we always take the words that
Yeah.
you guys choose and go, oh, it's Garb. Oh, it's Kasari. Oh, it's God. Like, that's how we do it. Oni Hunter's Garb. 60 magical protection, 15% crowd control reduction, 20 MP5, and this is going to passive as well, which is every
There's
10
more crowd
seconds
control
out of
reduction?
combat, you gain 15 magical protection, max of 3 stacks.
Oh,
a
you
total
can get a lot of
45
magical protection
protections.
too.
Upon taking
That's a cool
damage,
item.
magical
These items
damage,
are awesome, man.
1 stack of this is removed. So this is a very, very good against like magical carries like Freya and the likes to
Yeah.
like deal with the poke damage.
It does really well against 2 types of mages. The ones who have like the really upfront damage of Freya, where she's only dealing damage with her 2 and her 1 active.
Mhm.
Or you have someone like Hebo, which he's gonna knock you up 1 and ult. You got extra protections the entire time you did that.
Okay, that makes some sense. So we're going
Wow.
to see that one in game as well. That's the end of the Kasari tree.
I'm excited. I want to play.
You
I
can,
want to use these
we're on
items.
to the
I don't know what I'm gonna
Cudgel
build.
tree.
yes.
What's
Cudgel
happened
tree.
to Cudgel?
Oh, it's just hammers.
What are we doing?
Well, Cudgel itself isn't getting too much of an adjustment. It's the rune.
Yo,
forged
Weak3n,
hammer
I
at the
just
end of
got
it.
here.
Oh,
What
changes
cool
to kinda
things
get
did
the
they
game
announce?
changed.
God's
Okay. So
skins
it's the
game
Reforged Hammer
mode.
one. And this is, I
Thank you,
guess this week
Squirtle,
is, it
for the
had
donation,
physical
man.
power and it also had protections as well and health. At some
Yeah,
things.
you know, it was picked a lot, not so much because people really built specifically into getting more protection, physical
Mhm.
protections for the passive, but more because it was just a great kind of best in slot item. It had a lot of health, a lot of protections.
It was like
and-
all
Just show
round.
the
Yeah,
items.
just like an all
I'm
round.
talking about it.
We've changed it almost entirely.
Show me
It's
'em.
basically like we
Yeah.
designed, when we made Warriors back in season 2, we want them to be all rounders but not masters of anything. Well, this
BTS
was like
isn't
the
going up
all-rounder
tonight.
item that was
Yeah.
master of everything
Yeah.
to an
Exactly.
extent. So the Cudgel tree has been hit, guys. First thing to talk about, let's go. Runeforged Hammer, as Pompon said, now branches off of Heavy Hammer.
Mhm.
It no longer provides physical protection. It now provides
Power.
30 physical power.
What?
Reduced health from 350 to 200.
What?
And cost
Additional
increase
physical
from
power.
2050 to
Your abilities hit harder.
From 2050 to 2700. So a big increase in cost this, but it does have a newer passive I think to go along with this increase, which is your abilities now deal an additional
As magic damage?
15% of your physical power
It does
as
magic
magical
damage.
against enemies. And there's also a secondary passive that if they are rooted or slowed on the enemy, you'll deal 30% of your physical power as magical damage
If
as
they're
well.
rooted or
So
slowed?
it has a kind of
Oh
a lot
my
of moving
gosh!
parts. It kind of exists for those ability, the warriors, especially with ones that have slows like Chalk, where
Oh
if they need
my
to do
gosh,
damage
dude.
abilities, they can kind of build into
That's gonna be
this as well
awesome.
as
That's gonna be a
maybe
lot of.
split damage.
That's you can do a lot of extra burst damage.
Split
30% more
you can
damage.
actually
It's
deal a little bit of
huge.
magical damage to kind of get around that.
And it's taken off we've taken the physical protection off this item and given it more a damaging effect as well as
Yes.
health.
Right.
really,
What
one of
is
the key things
this?
here. That's the first one. Next one
Yeah,
is
Robin will hit hard.
Smithy's Hammer. Do you remember Smithy's Hammer? I love Smithy's Hammer.
On.
It's gone.
Bye.
It's
Removed from the game.
I always like that hammer.
You will be missed. Just like Bart. Heavy Hammer no longer provides a passive effect.
Oh, that's
Increased
rank,
physical
rank
power
2.
from 18 to 20 and increased health from 100 to 150. So once again, we're not giving the passive effects of the Heavy Hammer because at tier 2 it used to give us slow.
Yeah.
But now we're taking that away again. We're not going to have the tier 2 version give us slow. Just going to be a little bit more increased health and power. Cool.
Show me.
And the Frostbound Hammer still
me.
going to keep its passive, I believe, of auto attacks deal
Yep.
damage.
Frostbound's good.
Sorry,
That's slow.
movement speed
Slow.
and attack speed, like I
Yes.
just said. Reduced
Frostbound's
health
still
from
good.
325 to 300,
Cool.
however, and the slow duration has also
Yo,
been
you
hit.
get Frostbound
It's no
and
longer
Rune
2
Forge
seconds
together
slow, it's
and
gonna
do
be
a buttload of extra
1.25
damage
seconds
and have
slow.
500
So
extra
that
health.
window of opportunity to keep chasing, you need to keep landing those autos.
Yep.
Frostbound's still good?
And that's the end of
Down.
that part of the card. Now we're into round shield tree.
Yeah, we're still defensive here.
We're still in defensive items here, guys. This is not offensive at all. I've got 2 more cards left for defensive items. And then
Getting
we've still
through it.
got... See this pile, guys? It's
There's so
Come
many
on,
more
changes this time.
notes.
still going.
Yeah.
Round shield tree. So these are general adjustments to some of the items in these trees. It's not like big overhauls of like, oh, we're not going to have protections on these. We're not going to have damage on these. We're not going to have health on these.
This
These
is
are just like small
amazing.
tweaks that should fix things.
Yeah, I think it's just
I'm
general
so
balance
excited.
kind of updates to this tree.
All right, so first one to talk about then is going to be the Shield of Regrowth. Sorry, I could not see the words on the screen. Shield of Regrowth on the screen as a card. Increased physical power to 30. I don't know what it was, but it's got 30 power on it now.
That's right.
Yep.
Best notes ever, this one. Shift the
Item's still
Shield.
not good.
Increased base magical and physical protection from 15 to 20. So a little bit more survivability on this one.
Shifters,
Yeah, little touches.
they should have.
Alongside
I
Void
don't know.
Shield, which is also
Maybe
had
Shifters is okay.
its power increased from 25 to 30, and increased physical protection
Void Shield's
reduction aura
also.
from 15 to 20. So we're making these a little
bad.
bit more effective.
I don't know if the
shields.
items are
Yeah,
going to be
there's a
picked up
couple reasons
yet.
for that. One is that we are trying to add more options for penetration, but also you can now build a lot higher protections if you focus more on that than health.
Okay.
And so there's some adjustments to be able to counterplay that.
Enchanted Bucklertree is the next one. This is once again the same sort of thing. And Seeley has shifted away from a stack building item and has a new passive. Ooh.
For every
okay.
health,
I
missing?
really like this item, it's just undervalued. Reduced cooldown.
Pretty good for like
reduction
Hercules.
from 15%
Thanks.
to 10%. New passive, however, you gain 0.5%
These are all
physical
tank
power
items.
for
A lot, not all of
every
them, but a lot of them.
1% of missing health.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
the lower you get, the more damage you do. Kind of like Hercules passive, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same sort of
Very
thing.
similar.
That and Bancrofts.
So you get low, beat the crap out of someone, then regen back up to full.
That'd be pretty cool
melee
for
renewal.
fucking Hercules, dude.
Hey, see?
Yeah.
Items working
synergy.
together. Items working together. And the final card of the defensive tree. I'd do a drum roll, but it's not gonna work. Cloak tree. So
Oh.
this is a higher the edge than the spirit robe and things.
Yeah.
There's no.
Okay.
There's a new item on here too.
What the fuck?
Oh man.
Show me. Show
We'll
me.
get to that. That's the last one on this card.
Can't wait to
Oh
read
my
the name.
gosh.
People make fun of me, but I really like the name.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if there's enough room for the characters in the UI, but
I don't know how I'm going to cast that one yet. We're working out. First one, Spirit Robe. Reduce cooldown reduction from 15% to
Ooh,
10%.
Spirit Robe is awesome.
Now provides 10% crowd control.
Spirit Robe is like the
reduction.
ultimate
So we
get
made that a little
everything.
bit more for survivability, but
Spirit
also
Robe,
reducing that
boys,
cooldown
let's
you do from
go!
7 to kind of
I'm gonna get
synergize
Spirit Robe
with
every
the
game.
cooldown changes
Yeah.
too, I
Let's
guess.
go, Spirit Robe OP.
Hide the Urchin also had some changes. Reduced base protections
They
from
nerfed
45
Hyde.
to 35. But then the increased protections
Oh,
gained
wow.
from stacks has now gone up from 2 to 3. So building those stacks is better now. To get the survivability, you're not going to get it free.
I don't
Yeah, and
know.
the big thing there is because
I got a little
it's
nerfed.
kind of a catch-all item, which we've removed a lot of.
Yeah.
We kind of had to make sure that it wasn't going to be you just bought it and all of a sudden had you a whole bunch of stats that kind of broke the idea that we were going with this season.
Awesome. And now we're on to the item that you're very excited
Oh
about.
my
Very-
god.
One of the newer
Tell me the
items of the
item.
game. Cloak of Unrelenting Sorrow.
Unrelenting sorrow.
Yeah,
Well, I tell you what, boys and girls, when you hear what this item does as a passive, you'll
Cloak of
agree.
Us,
Unrelenting
US.
Sorrow.
you should probably start with the cost of it, maybe. That might-
Should we start, do you want to start cost?
yeah, start the cost.
Should we start cost and then end on passive, or start passive, end on cost?
Show me the items.
Just go cost.
Okay,
first.
cost first of all, guys. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
3,600 gold.
3,600 gold.
3,600 gold.
So it's a little bit,
That's
a
more
little
than
bit much.
you
Deathbringer.
know it's going to do something good.
What is this?
No, it's going to do because Deathbringer was 3,150, right?
Mhm.
This is
Ratatouille
3,600.
I think 3320, so it's
That's
Show
right. So it's,
me
it's
the
more expensive than Rada
item.
Tahuti as well.
yeah.
It's 400 less than a max power potion of
Ooh.
elixir of power, right?
Yeah, those are
Item.
3,000.
Oh, they're
Good.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I was thinking
still
they were
more
4. I
expensive.
just don't see them. Okay. The most expensive item in the game so far in the defense tree is, first of all, it branches off Cloak of Concentration, just in case.
What a
You need to know
tease,
that.
damn.
It's got 60 physical protection, 60 magical protection, 15% cooldown.
What is that
reduction.
passive? Oh.
So there's no health, first of all. I don't see any
What
health on
is
this.
Yeah, no health.
Awesome. I just thought we were like, yeah, we're going to do all this and
Oh
then
my
make one item.
gosh. Look
Okay,
at the passive.
If you take damage
done.
below 30% health,
I'm
you
done.
unleash a shockwave that stuns
Fucking
all
done.
enemies within a range of 20 for 1 second. And gain CC immunity for 1 second.
What is a
However, this effect
passive?
cannot
I'm fucking
trigger
done.
more than once every 90
I'm
seconds.
done.
Now, this is
That item
BTS, first of all.
insane.
This could come
What
down in
the
cost, go
fuck?
up in cost based on how much it gets played and how people give feedback on it. How are you guys feeling this item should play out?
I think it actually fills an interesting role of if you're going to get low on health, you can actually
That
if you have a whole bunch of people like
fucking
Kali or people who are
passive.
really good at staying on you, and you need protections against that, you could build a stun them and get the CC immunity.
You
to
can
get
stun
out.
and run. You can have an item
especially
that
with the
stuns and saves your
purification
butt, and
chain,
you just
it's
run away.
It's kind of harder to get that kind of stat. Where you
And
just
3,600 is not a lot because you aren't playing
it feels
actives.
Kind of very neutral. It's kind of
You have an extra
I'm kind of
1,800
okay with
gold
this
to
item now, 'cause
save.
when I first
That's
saw this
huge.
item was being spoken about in the office, I was like, this is ridiculous. However, the cost seems to balance that out, so it's a very expensive item, like almost a luxury item. to be
Oh
able to
my
get in this position.
gosh.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think we haven't really talked too much about.
Could
yet
you
is
imagine
that,
like a full team of
you
people
don't
with
have
that
to spend
shit, and you're just trying to kill them
$1,800
all, and they all
times.
just keep
It's a
stunning
little
you?
bit more money at the end of the game.
Oh
So we
my.
wanted to try to introduce, and we're going to keep introducing a little bit more high-end luxury items that you can buy into if you're going for late game strategies.
So we started to kill tanks with that too. They just you fucking stun and run away and heal up back and come back
And
with
now
teleport.
that is all taken
Done.
care of,
I'm
boys
fucking
and girls.
done.
Nobody really cares about defensive items
Throw me
anyway.
into items. Let's go.
Actives, most of you never even bought them anyway, so them changing to relics won't really influence you either. But now we're on to the main focal point of the patch notes today, which is offensive items.
I mean,
Yeah.
damage is really what it's all about.
Exactly. It's fun to deal damage.
well, it's the whole point of the game, really. Like, you kill the opposition, you win the game. That's generally it. Defense keeps you alive a little bit longer, but if you're dead, you're not dealing damage. That's why defense was good, but who cares? It's on to offense, and let's begin straight away. We're taking away a lot of the bloat of offense. That's
Yeah.
the big key here. Like, there's no over-bloated items. Is the plan for Season 3? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, we'll see if they're bloated here, Scott, as we move on. So, Spike Gauntlet is the first one.
Yes.
Soul Eater in Season 2
It's super
was
new.
If you want to talk about
So
something
good.
with a lot of, we'll call it bloat on it. Yeah.
Was Soul
Eater.
Eater.
Soul Eater.
It's a great starting point for this one because a lot of hunters bought it. It was a very strong item. They gave them health. They gave them everything they wanted, pretty much.
Yeah, protections, health, a little too much resilience actually for a class that probably didn't need it, especially in the early game.
No, no, it
Yeah.
didn't, Scott. No, it didn't. And now it doesn't. So, Soul Eater no longer provides
Oh,
health.
no health. Woo!
I like where this is going already. However, attack speed has been increased from 15% to 30%, which
What
is
is
a
the
nice
passive?
bump in
Big,
attack
big
speed.
change. Yeah.
Really
Movement
big.
speed on
And
the
on top of that,
passive?
it's now got a new passive as well. So the old passive used to give you attack speed
10%
and
movement speed
lifesteal.
on the passive.
You give you attack speed, lifesteal, protection.
You get 30%
Everything.
lifesteal,
It gave you
30% attack
everything. It now
speed,
doesn't. It
and
now gives you
10% movement
Killing
speed.
an enemy eats their soul, granting 0.5% lifesteal and 0.5% movement speed, max of 20 stacks. When it says enemy, I just want to clear this up.
Oh,
that
the
is
other
also
passive
God,
eats the
minion,
passives and
jumbo
heals
camp,
you?
something like
Yep.
that. Okay. Max 20 stacks on this. However, if you take damage below 50% health, all the stacks are consumed, and you restore 1% of your maximum health per stack.
Oh
Yes.
my
So you get 20% of
gosh.
your health back
Yeah,
when you hit 50%.
exactly.
Oh
and
my
also, if you're below
gosh.
50%, every stack you get just immediately goes to health.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just to clear this one up for me, I'm at 51% health. I get hit to 50. I go up to 70%.
That's a
health,
strong
technically.
Heartseeker,
But
dude.
then I kill 2 more creeps.
That's
then I get low
insane.
50% health again.
For
but then I
lifesteal,
gain
like for a
2%
third
of my
item?
maximum
Yes.
health
That's
as well. So
insane.
I'll keep triggering.
Yeah, so if
get
you're
back up.
if you're above 50%, you get a lot more damage. If you're below 50%, you get sustain.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more solidly in that lifesteal area of you.
That
damage stuff
item's
and
gonna
kill
be
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Bound Gauntlet no longer provides health and has increased attack speed from 7% to 15% as well. So we're seeing a little bit more attack speed coming out of these builds now instead of like survivability of health.
That's right.
Is the big key here. Okay. Next one to talk about is the Katana Tree, a new
Yes.
tree.
Ooh, a
We're-
Yes,
Katana.
actually, we
You got
have several new
katanas
trees
now.
that are Japanese themed
Oh.
because
Yeah.
we have a new pantheon. So
Exactly.
There you go.
They also have
Scott
cool
giving the
names.
game away that
Yes.
we're announcing a new Pantheon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some gods in that one
I
too.
think we already did that.
Do we?
No.
Oh, Amaterasu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one.
No, Hindu's
Um,
dumb.
This new tree is focused on items that provide physical power and movement speed. Very potent combination, especially for
Mercury!
Assassins.
Buff Mercury!
So we'll see
Buff
how this
him.
one plays
Make
out.
me super
This
fast.
is
Show
PTS
me.
still. We'll keep saying that
Show
over and over again.
me.
I want to get that to you at home.
Some of the
Things will
items.
change. But to begin with, Katana, the tier 1 of Katana will be 10 physical power and 5% movement speed for 800 gold.
They move Heartseeker.
Then the
That's
tier
cool.
2, we're going to have 1000-fold blade. Oh, we got references in here too. 15 physical power and 8% movement speed for 1300 gold. And then we have two tier 3? No, 3 tier 3 items that branch off this.
Yes.
First one is going to be Masamune. Masamune, which is 30 physical power. This is a new item, obviously, guys. 30 physical power, 10% movement speed, and a passive. You deal an additional physical power. You deal additional physical power damage against targets with more maximum health than
Mercury can kill tanks
equal
so
to 1 power for
easy.
every 10 health difference to a maximum
Mercury
of
and
50.
Kali.
Cost
It's a tank killing item.
2400.
Yeah.
So this, for me, it feels like when the guys just go for general health, the tanks go for general health stats, you're going to be able to burst them a little bit easy and deal additional damage.
This was the kind of item that was really difficult to do last season, just because generally everyone got health when they got protections. And so there wasn't really a distinction of, okay, I can see that guy's more health than he has protections. This is now a good item to get.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have more health than Assassins. Let's go.
Tier 3 item, another new tier 3 item, which is Stone Cutting Sword. 50 physical power, 10% movement speed, a passive with melee basic attacks decrease enemy physical protections by 10 and increase your physical protections by 10 for 3 seconds.
So both those items, if someone stacks health, you get this health one. If someone stacks defense, you get that defense one.
This seems like a very boxing.
I'm so excited as a jungler.
It's kind of like Ickvol, where Ickvol does that kind of power trade. This is an armor trade. And because armor is a little bit more potent in that scenario, it's a little more expensive.
I can kill
it does the
tanks.
opposite of what
Let's
the
fucking
health
go.
one did. It gives you more damage against people who built armor. It helps you.
And there's a really big note on this item, which is something new we haven't done before. It's melee basic attacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
this item
does it say melee?
It does.
Oh,
It's a melee. It's for Mercury and Kali.
It's just the way I am. I'm English.
Go.
So it's only for melee.
Bologna.
Which
We
means
go to
we're
Bologna
looking
too.
at all assassins and warriors for the most part in terms of this item being used. Okay, so we're not going to see it on hunters for boxing.
Yes.
I expect to see it on hunters for boxing. I didn't read the melee part. Oh, okay. And the final item in this tree.
Heartseeker.
No, I read that right. I did.
Yeah.
That does say that, right?
Yeah, that's back.
Heartseeker's back, boys and girls. Why is it back?
Why is it back?
Why is it back? That's a bit key. Is it because we took it out because we believed that it was too powerful?
Well, we didn't take it out.
It wasn't taken out
for effective purposes.
It was taken out.
It
No,
was-
when I say it's back, I mean it's back to what it used to be before we changed it.
No.
No.
Oh, it's not?
It's not. No.
Oh, I thought... 25 physical power.
There was a big design debate over should we go back to a more original Heartseeker?
Ow.
Should we do something entirely new? Should we just pull the item out of the game? I think everyone agreed that where it was or where it is right now is not at a good spot. But what we decided to do is what we decided to try on PTS is actually a new design for it. Yeah.
New design then. 25 physical power, 15% movement speed, and the passive, hitting an enemy with a basic attack helps you gain focus, increasing attack speed by 3% per stack.
Who would that be good on?
At 5 stacks, however, you next
Bologna?
ability... Sorry, the
A damage Bologna with that? With the passive, your Bologna passive and that passive?
It's a stacking item at the same time as...
You can attack really fucking
it's
quickly, dude.
to Soulstone, except it's not a starting item. It has a little bit heavier stats on it.
Okay, and that cost of that at the moment is going to actually reduce as well from 1890 to 1800 is the big key there as well. So a little bit more viable in terms of...
I'm trying to think of assassins that would be good on.
Expensive item at 1800 either.
Exactly.
We'll see how that one plays out. Next one is another new... It's called the Light Blade Tree.
Oh, there's a range? I thought it was melee only.
And execution now better shine versus high protection or high health targets respectively.
Yeah.
So we'll go through those. Executioner first of all. New passive. Basic attacks against an enemy reduce your target's physical protection by 6% for 3 seconds.
Max 6 stacks?
However, it's now up to 6 stacks. It's also got an increased attack speed on it from 20% to 25%.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. Executioner is OP against tanks too. That's a lot of stacks.
Yeah, the big change here is it doesn't do flat protection reduction in addition to percentage. It just does percentage.
Oh, we liked with that old
really
item.
more
Yeah.
valuable now against people that build really high protections versus kind of just being across the board. Good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of like the removal of bloat from a lot of things. It was good against high armor and low armor, and now it's just high armor.
Just against high armor.
Thanks
And on
about
top of
the
that, we also get to see the
shredded.
Chin Sei's got changed as well, which is increased power from 30 to 40. And that's the only change there. However, the gold difference has come down 150 gold.
Ooh,
It used
Kins
to
is
be
cheap.
850 gold.
A
It's
little
now
cheap. Not really cheap, but
2700.
kind of cheap.
So it's still going to have that percentage of health
Yeah.
on it as well.
Kins might
So
get
that's the
picked
Chin
up
Sei's
with
change,
that
and we're
with
on
that
to the
attack
Mace
speed
tree next,
items.
which had Jotuns and Beat Stick and things like that in it. These are just general balance ones for this here. Jotun's Wrath, first of all, reduced cooldown reduction from 25% to 20%. just in line with all the cooldown
No
reduction
one got
changes we're
nerfed.
making.
No.
And decrease physical penetration from 11 to 10. So it's a very, very minor change there.
They remove
Any reason?
one.
Just round numbers.
penetration.
One is really
No,
annoying.
yeah, I don't even know how we originally got to 11 as being the sweet spot, but yeah, just adjust.
Just down to 10.
Just
Brawler's
adjust.
Beat Stick, the next one. Passive now works off ability hits
Abilities?
rather than basic attacks.
Wait, it's not
Yeah.
autos?
So only ability
Big
hits?
change there. Big
Yeah.
change there. Yeah.
Why is it such a big change?
Ability-based
Mainly
anti-healing.
characters like Bastet, for example, can now they can jump in and poke.
Oh,
to get
that's
an
actually
heal,
awesome.
Make it claws. To have an
Brawler's just
extended
got a
dodge.
lot
different way to
fucking
attack.
better
Yeah,
on
so
assassins.
before, like, essentially healers were really good at these sustained engagements where there was really no good counter besides the Divine
Wow.
Ruin. And
Like
a lot of mages just
Serket
kinda
with
didn't want to
Brawlers?
itemize into that path. But Brawlers
Huge.
is one that is itemized quite heavily. And so now you can pick that up and feel
Or
really good about picking that up. in
with
terms
Brawlers,
of, I'm Bastet, I can leap in,
huge.
I can
You
shut
get
down
Brawlers
their
on
healing,
3
and-
people, 4
You can
people, 5
hold your
people a
abilities
spin.
back then
Yeah.
and like time them to keep that debuff applied regularly instead of like every auto attack has to.
Nemesis
Okay.
is Brawler.
Crusher also got some changes as well. Passive now increases attack speed by 10% per stack and increases penetration by 5 per stack.
Dang. Painkiller
so
or
this is
tower
to
killing
try and
item.
make it a little bit
It
more
buffs
you know, just
Crusher.
useful as a
You be able
whole
to
and
split
not just
push
be
more.
like, so focused on one individual way.
Yeah.
Just shreds objectives a little bit better. Towers a little better.
essentially.
And the passive no longer provides movement speed as well. Is something
Yeah.
to note on
Yeah,
that one as well.
that was a little.
Well, we've got that whole movement speed tree now, right? There's more.
That's
ways
right. There's
that
a
we
lot
can
of
do that,
ways
so.
to buff move speed. Yeah.
Morning Tree, general balance here. Hydra's Lament increased additional damage from passive from 25% to 30%. That's the one where you use an ability and
Hydra's
it's attack will deal
Lament.
more damage. So we've
That
increased
changes.
that a
I
little
don't
bit.
know. With the other items, it'll be
Morning Star
hard.
Speed,
So.
however, removed as it has no connecting item.
yeah, Heartseeker's not there anymore.
It
So
got offered.
Poor Morning Star Speed. We will miss you.
like Smithies.
Like Smithies and Bart and everybody else. It's awful. Lost Artifact Tree. Doomob's back.
Yeah.
However,
However, Doomorb is just back. Yes.
Doomob is just legit back.
You know, we originally adjusted that one just because we considered it kind of paired with Heartseeker, but I think
Mhm.
Doomorb had a place in gameplay and in the meta that was actually a lot better than the old Heartseeker, and I think we just missed it, and so
Okay.
we kind of wanted to bring that back.
Well, for those that didn't know the old Doomob and you
Doomorb
just
is
used to the current
completely
Doomob, these are the
reverted?
changes: 40 magical power, 200 mana on this
Broken
item,
again.
7 mana per 5, and the passive you gain 2 magical power
That's
per
100
stack, and
power.
receive 5 stacks per god kill and 1 stack per minion kill.
That's 100
And you
power.
lose half those stacks when you die. The max stacks you can have at any given time is 50. So back in the game for the old players, for the newer players, well, you got something to look forward to there because your mages will be picking it up for sure. In that
Oh,
one.
Doomorb,
Emerald
let's
Ring
be
Tree as
back,
well.
boys.
General balance here, Demonic Grip. This is going to have a new passive, your basic attacks, reduce your
6
target's
stacks again,
magical
awesome.
protection by 6% for 3 seconds.
Yep.
And that's a max of 6 stacks. That's very similar to Executioner now.
It's the same change we did Executioner.
Awesome.
Literally
So
execution.
we're going to see
and
that one
magic.
available for mages as well for
Form.
more
Mage
penetration.
form.
As well as Telekind's Ring, that's going to have increased attack speed from 10 to, wow, 10% to 30%.
Ooh, Telkines.
Okay. That's
Right, I
really
might
effective
be
for those
getting some Telkines.
in hand
Yeah.
mages for the most part. Reduced additional damage on passive from 40 to 35 magical damage, however, and we've removed the health from this item. And I think that's why the attack speed's gone up, is because the health's gone as well.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
kind of had a confusing identity as it kind of gives you a little bit of tankiness and power, and then you have this on proc. It's now kind of situated as a, if you're like Kronos, you might want to pick this up because of
Telkines
huge
might be
attack
back.
speed at the start, and it can actually help you box maybe a little bit earlier.
Makes sense. And Magical Focus Tree. This is another general balance tree here. We're going to see the Void Stone. Increased magical protection reduction on the passive from 15% to 20. Sorry, 15 to 20, not percent, 15 to 20. So it's going to be a little bit more potent. We've been looking at penetration as a big key here the whole season of getting more penetration items readily available, I guess. And Spear of Desolation is a new item.
Spear of Desolation. I was
Yes.
gonna say, what is Spear of
Why are you
Desolation?
No reason.
I like.
Maybe we
this
should start with
item.
the cost of this one too, kind of like the
Yeah, this is the
Oh, this is-
cloak,
this is
of,
Cloak of
brilliant
Unrelenting
now.
Sorrow.
yeah, Spear of Desolation, Cloak of Unrelenting Sorrow. We definitely use vocabulary.
I don't even want
Yes.
to read this item.
Show me Spear of Desolation.
This
man.
is real, right? This is no...
It's
Yeah, it's going.
This is
it's
real.
As real as
We're
it
doing
will
it
be.
live.
Yeah.
3,700 gold, guys.
3,700 again.
We saw the last one. It was 3,400. This one's 3,700.
The last one's 36. This one's 37.
It branches off the Enchanted Spear, first of all, and it's going to give you 130 magical power.
Okay. A lot of power, but
Oh, don't worry, there's more. I'm just pausing.
what's the rest
30
do?
magical penetration.
Okay, it's a lot of penetration, a lot of power.
Oh, there's still more, isn't there? Yeah.
Yes, there's
It's still a passive.
There's a passive.
there is a passive.
Show me. Let me read.
If you kill an enemy god, all of your cooldowns are reduced by 8 seconds.
Yeah.
However, this cannot activate more than once every 30. Thank God for that last line again. Yeah, I'm like, jeez.
I
When
don't
read the last
know,
line, I'm like,
man.
ooh, that's not so bad. This cannot activate more than once every 30 seconds.
I don't think that's a better rod.
Talk to me
I
about
don't
this
know
item.
if
This
that's
feels
broken.
like Rodder Tahuti on steroids. Or
Oh.
combined so well with Rodder Tahuti too.
Well, it's a luxury item. We have
Okay.
Again, we have more
That
gold on the
is-
map. You
that's
kinda
a
wanna
different
have these
item.
luxury items that you can build into late game. And it's competing essentially with Rada Tahuti. Rada Tahuti has more raw damage. This one has power and pen.
Mhm.
And so they're kind of comparable. The big difference is I think
Combining
Rada Tahuti
those?
is more beneficial unless you get the passive proc.
Of course.
And that passive proc is the thing that's kind
Yeah,
of the
that
condition
passive
that
proc
keeps
is
it in
weird,
line.
man.
Because if you just build
'Cause you
Rada
can get the
Tahuti,
killing
it's safer
blow.
where this is more risky. You have to get a kill for it to be really worth it.
Well, I mean, the Rodder Tahuti increases the power spike that you get anyway because of the passive. This
That's
passive
right.
is all about getting more kills,
Situational,
allowing to
not
deal more
broken.
damage,
That's
okay.
situational,
8
super
seconds on that one,
expensive. I don't know.
130
We'll see.
magical power, 30 magical penetration. This is PTS though. That could change. That reduced cooldown reduction could go to 50 seconds. It could go down to 1 second. It could be taken off. We'll find out as time goes on. But at the moment, I like that item. I think the current build that I'm seeing in my head is Shoes of Focus, Doom Orb, Rod of Tahuti, and Spear of Desolation.
It was
GG,
pretty
well
It
solid.
would take
GG,
forever
well
to
done.
build
Yeah,
those
that's
items.
I'm excited for that one. We'll find out. Tally Trinket Tree had a general balance update as well. Polynomicon increased additional magical power.
Yo,
from
that
this item
last rod we
from
talked about,
60 to
getting it early would be
75%.
huge.
So this is just
Yeah, it's worth pointing out there that we had originally nerfed that item for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But then we also changed
so what did they
the
do
way
to it?
it worked to where it no longer was on your next successful hit, but
It
on
was
your,
just-
your next attack,
Mhm.
which added a lot of mischance for it. And when we did that, it sort of became a little bit too difficult to use. So we want that difficulty there, but we want to bring back some of the power so it's a little more useful.
that makes sense because it's a give and take more than anything else on that item. So
Yeah.
increase it by 15%. We'll see how that one plays out.
15%.
Imperial Helmet Tree is once again a
that
general balance update here. The Dynasty Plate Helm, it's had its magical power increase from 30 to 40.
Mhm.
Celestial Legion Helm also had a physical protection increase from 50 to 70. So we're just making these more effective.
They buff
Probably picked
physical
up a little more
protections on
often.
those helmets.
That particular item
Not
is
that
very focused
crazy.
also on being anti-physical, anti-crit, and so it
Okay.
made sense to have more protections.
Not that
And then
hype.
Uncommon Sash Tree, once again, I'm going to see a little bit of a change here. Ethereal Staff increased passive power from 2% to 2.5% of health.
Oh, but they nerfed the
converted.
health. It's about
However,
600
to
to
make sure
400.
this isn't too strong, we've also lowered the amount of health you get on this item from 600 to 400.
Yeah. And
So,
so
you
if,
can go full
It's-
health and then
It's more.
use
It's
this,
better.
but
Like the
lower
later in the
health
game, the
on
better
yeah,
you stop
if you
gets.
are familiar with the Dirty Bubble build, right? The Breastplate of
We
Valor.
don't. We,
and
we,
the
we're
Ethereal.
trying to avoid using that name, but it's okay. The Dirty
No,
Bubble build. Yeah,
it's
we know.
okay, whatever.
Okay.
But that kind of build really shined because mages could build the 600 health item, and that was so much health for them. And so really this item kind of was supposed to be for if you build a lot of health, you can pick this up and it's really good.
Mhm.
So now with the lower base health, mages are less inclined to pick it up, while the people who have stacked a lot of health, that passive still kind of makes up for it and actually makes it a little bit better in that scenario.
That makes a lot of sense. I
Yeah,
can
it's
see
more of
why
a
that one
tank
went through.
item
And
now
obviously,
than it
you know,
is
you're
like
still
just
gonna have
pick
to
it
buy
up and
health
be
items if you
OP
want to get
early.
more
That's right.
damage out of this one too, but then you're gonna lack damage. We got a new tree. Another new tree.
Other tree? What's this?
Oh,
This is too much to
no,
handle.
it's power tree. It's power tree. No one really cares about mages. Not everyone really likes them. Most people like, the physicals. And this is the Shuriken tree. Why are you laughing? I'm so because whenever you guys laugh, it's like there's something.
It's just really fun to see the
ridiculous.
new items.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shuriken tree, tier 1, 10% physical power,
Oh, crit tree.
10% crit chance.
Yes.
Oh man,
900 gold.
10% is a lot.
Thank you.
That's right.
Holy crap, 10% crit.
As a support player,
That's
though, no.
huge for 900 gold.
Throwing Dagger is going to be a tier 2 version of this. This item now builds from Shuriken, if you remember Throwing Dagger. Increased critical chance, though, from 7% to 10%. I think that's just to be in line with the Shuriken off that as well. Tier 3, we're going to see...
Yeah, it's
Golden
physical.
Bow
They
is
said
now
magical,
plugged in
right?
this tree as well. Obviously, if Throwing Daggers in this tree, Golden Bow needs to be in this tree as well.
Show me.
There's also 8-pointed Shuriken, which is a tier 2, which is 15 physical power, 15% crit chance, and that's 1,500 gold. All the 15s in that one.
Show me the item.
Nice and simple.
What is
And
the item?
New tier 3 item. I'm just going to check if there's more than one tier 3 before I carry on. Oh, okay. No.
You good.
I was like, jeez. Okay, so this is called the Wind Demon.
The wind demon.
And you laughed, so let's find out.
The
how this
wind
works.
demon.
40% physical power, 20% crit chance. Passive, your crits now also reduce healing on targets.
So they made
by
an
40%
anti-healing for
3
auto
seconds.
attack
Yeah,
gods.
so
2,800 gold.
that's right. So one of
They
the
made
things
anti-healing for auto-attack gods. That's it.
Yep.
We wanted to give something back for in-handers to do it as well.
Okay.
And it's a lot easier for them to build into that if it's on a crit item.
It's not like
That's
20%
different.
crit chance and 40 physical power doesn't seem too outrageous for 2,800 here as well with that regeneration
Yeah.
reduction on it as well. I can understand that one. it's a new item. I like it. I think we're going to see it, but I
That's,
don't think
no,
it's
you're not gonna see
Well,
that
I think
item.
in that
big-
danger area, you know?
Yeah, I think the big thing here is
That
also
item is
just the introduction of more
so
crit items means you
not
can get higher
good.
crit chance.
That's
And so
true.
crit across the board, and you'll see in the upcoming changes, is more valuable. And so even though it seems like if you kind of look at the other crit items, it would be on a little bit of the weaker side, with more crit being available, it kind of just boosts it up even higher.
Awesome. 2,800 gold, like I said, for that one. We'll see how many people pick that one up. And on to more crit, as Pom Pom was saying. Had some changes here to general cost, for the most part, of these items in the crit tree and the hidden dagger tree. We see Deathbringer. He's had a small increase of 50 gold. So instead of 3,150, it's now 3,200 gold. Rage, though, it's had a decrease in gold here from 2,755 to 2,600.
Ooh, Rage is
However, it's
cheaper.
also got a decreased critical chance from 30%
Oh, Rage
to
is still good.
20%. And the increased number of
6
max stats in the
stacks?
passive from 5
What?
to 6. So it can take a little bit longer to get
If it
those
takes you
final
that
crits
long to
off,
crit,
and
you're
not gonna get as
fucked
much base
anyway,
crit for
dude.
free.
That's right.
But I guess it allows for that item to be bought as well that we just saw earlier
Yeah.
as well. And finally, Malice as well. This has had a 100 gold increase there as well from 2,900 to 3,000. The rest of those effects are still the same
Malice costs more?
on those items.
What? Why? And
Now
Deathbringer
that's the
costs
first
more?
look at items
What the hell?
of
My
defensive and
crit items
offensive.
cost
That
more.
won't be our last look at items, I can almost guarantee you. Especially based off feedback and how things go in the playtest and things as well.
Definitely.
But the next thing to talk about, and the thing that you all love at home more than anything else, is God balance.
Uh-oh.
Got some God balance.
What's going on, boys?
This is really there
What
might
are
be
they
more
doing?
There
next
might
week
be more?
in phase 2 PTS.
Might be.
Yes.
Mm.
There'll probably be more in the next phase of PTS.
All right, let's
but
begin.
First pass.
Let's begin, because there's a few cards here as well, so it's a nice sign. If it's all stuff like UI targeters and stuff, I'm going to be
Yeah,
so
let me
happy.
see.
It is. We fixed a lot of tooltips.
Yeah, it's almost entirely tooltips.
Actually, there is one tooltip fix that was
Pretty
was
major.
a pretty major one.
Yeah.
Surprising one. We'll get to it. Yeah.
Okay,
You'll
okay.
see.
Yeah.
Alpwash, first of all. So we're still in A, which means there's a lot of A goods. Alpwash. Hollow Ground, reduced restoration from 6% to 5% of maximum health.
Alpwash
And
doesn't get
Undead
played right now.
Surge, reduced slow from 40%
Attacking
at all
slow.
ranks to now scale with
Or slow
leveling up
sacks
from
with
20%
build rank
all
of
the way up
ability.
to 40%.
Alpooch doesn't
rank.
get played.
So he's a little
Show me
bit
assassins.
less this slow bot and ridiculously sustainable, which a lot of people have complained about.
Yeah, a lot of it, especially in like the early games of some of the other modes and Conquest as well, is he can throw that out at rank 1 and it slows you significantly, basically guaranteeing a lot of his damage. So now that's toned back, he has to choose, am I going to invest in burst or I'm going to invest in more secured damage?
Okay. Now this is the first time I've had to say this god's name on camera because I'm not very used to it, but Amaterasu. Is that right?
I say Madaras.
Madaras.
I think it's a Madarasu in game.
New god.
Yes.
Dazzling offense. Dazzling offense now plays a distinct bell chime noise on all 3 strikes.
Okay,
Is this the
ooh,
one
there's
we were
sound
talking
now.
No,
Great.
that's not what we're talking about. But actually,
Great.
it is
They
a very
added a
nice feature.
sound.
It makes it a lot easier to, especially if she's behind you doing it,
Yeah.
to tell what's happening.
They
So
added a sound
there's a
to
big
her
feedback
ult.
on it.
Sound is always
Cool.
important in the game, and a lot of people don't
Great.
realize that because they listen to music. But sound makes a
Great.
big factor, especially with casting too. Like we can
Yeah.
hear the abilities beforehand. So good to see that we're going to have a notification of noise in that. First one I can see here is Ao Kwang is back.
Yeah.
No.
Ao Kwang is making
not
a
Ao
return
Kwang.
potentially to
What they do to him?
play.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So I know we hit a lot of things in him in season 2 because he felt like he was too strong at one point and then too weak and then too strong again. And now everyone feels he's a little bit weak and we're not seeing as much of him because of his
Yeah.
play. So we've done a lot of hits to his general here with increased health, scaling from 74 to 82, increased starting HP 5 from 7 to 10, increased HP 5 scaling
magical
from
scaling, that's
0.48
good.
to 0.7 per level, increased magical protection scaling
Magical protection's
per level
huge.
from 0 to 0.9, increased magical in-hand scaling per level from
He auto
1.7
attack Ao
to
Kwang now?
2.4.
That's a little
Uh-oh.
stuff, but it all has the same theme, in that Ao Kwang, we want to position very much as a late game character.
Okay.
and
Late
his
game
base
auto
stats
attacks.
really didn't represent that.
Mhm.
So we wanted to adjust him in a way that didn't affect really how his early game is, and,
Okay.
and the other adjustments that we've done through the course
Well,
of the year.
early game sucks,
it
so
helped
that's
him
why
position
he's gonna
better
suck
spot.
still.
That makes sense. So it's like early game he's weak, but not as weak, so he doesn't get beat up too much. But he
Yeah.
can still get to that late game and then be the monster that we're used to seeing him be when he gets there.
Exactly.
Ao Kwang's still
Ao Kwang,
average, you
the
guys.
updates there.
Not a huge
Artemis is
change.
getting some love. Ooh.
Artemis.
Ooh.
You're doing Artemis.
Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. It's 50-50 on this
It
one.
is that way, right? It's like you read
Tell me.
it, but then when you play it, you're going to be like, oh.
That's what I'm like, oh,
Oh.
we'll find out. Okay, so Caledonian Boar. Decrease the amount of time it takes Tusky to select
Okay,
a new
that's
target
good.
after dashing.
That's good.
Yep.
Husky's way better.
He's
Cool.
faster now.
It's
Because everyone just runs away from it.
It's a
forever.
big difference. It's a big difference. You know, he would hit and pause, and there'd be time, but there's not. Pause
However,
anymore.
we did also reduce the
The
stun
board's about the
duration
ping pong.
that Tusky does from 1.5 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Is this to counteract that a little
Wait.
bit because we're a bit worried about like everybody being stunned in half a second, or?
I actually,
Wait,
that might
what?
be written wrong. The
Oh,
stun
really?
duration was how long he stunned himself before he picked
Yeah.
a new target.
Oh,
That's
it's
no,
more stun
there's no-
reduced. I was
no,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
that's a
Yeah.
stun.
Okay,
to a
that
stun
changes
duration.
the
Yeah,
stun
so
duration, okay.
it was a little bit weird. Very
Husky's
old
strong
character,
as shit.
and when we old
Okay.
stuff was done in
No,
a straight
Tusky's
way,
still
what Tusky
good.
actually did to pause is he would actually stun himself. when
Husky's
he hit a
now
target before
better.
going to the next
Right.
Maybe
target.
not good,
That
but
makes
better.
sense.
And he would do it for 1.5 seconds. So now
Right.
instead of spending 1.5 seconds between targets,
The
he
way I
spends
read that, I
0.5.
think people at home would have thought
Yeah.
that is that the stun used to be 1.5 seconds, and now it's only going to be 0.5. So you're like,
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that's
yeah.
still
So we
good.
should reword that so it makes more
Better.
sense. But no, basically, instead of spending 1.5 seconds per
Yeah.
target, he spends 0.5. So a really big
so
increase.
he's going to be faster.
He's
He's
gonna
going to
be-
get stun off, and
Yeah,
he's going to
yeah.
select his target. Whoa, this is good.
Yeah.
That's a good change. I was
Stun
like,
like
no
3
nerfs, only
targets real
buffs.
quick.
that is a
That'd be
buff,
huge.
guys. It's a
Yes.
buff. Bologna.
all buffs. No, I'm just kidding.
They're
We just
nerfing
didn't feel
below.
she was good enough, and so we added a whole bunch of
Didn't feel she
protections.
was good enough. We put her in a
Oh,
CGI
man.
trailer, and she destroys the SWC for the whole year. But now, anyway, it's finally time to hit her. Bludgeon, reduced slam bonus damage from 30% to 25%.
Okay,
per
a
god
5%
hit.
nerf.
Good start already. Not going to have that ridiculous amount of
That's all they
one-shot
did?
rage. And Scourge also reduced the disarm time from 2 seconds to 3
Okay,
seconds.
disarm
is the
time's
cap,
nice.
And now it's going to be 1.4 seconds starting up to 2.2
Disarm
seconds.
time is
So
nice.
we're reducing
Not
the head
huge.
damage on the
Those nerfs
bludgeon,
are
a little bit
so
on the burst
average.
damage from that, and the Scourge is not going to disarm for as long.
Yeah, and we might not be done with Bologna, but I think
Yeah,
we
you're
have so many
nerfing
item
Bologna
changes,
again,
especially
Scott.
ones that affected people who built.
Scott, you gotta
And
nerf
I
some
think we'll
more.
see a little bit how they play out before we go too aggressive.
Those
Okay.
nerfs were nothing.
Bakasura. That's a god.
No, but Baka.
I play him still.
I've missed him. He's been so long.
No!
Bakasura's getting some love, guys and girls. General increased base physical power scaling from 36 to 38, so 2 extra physical power scaling on him. He's not going to be upset by that. Also, we've buffed his Eat Minion. Because the big issue, if you remember, his Regurgitate, his ultimate, was the big issue because it had so many minions and they were so tanky. Caused a lot of issues in the early game where people just couldn't survive it. Instead of
Wait,
buffing
what?
that, we've now buffed the
Why
Eat
did they take
Minion
it away?
instead. Increased protection buff duration from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. That's a
Mhm.
big, double the increase
Really
there.
big.
Reduced cooldown as well. Instead of being 18 start down to 14 as you rank it up, it's now 15 seconds at all ranks, which is just above.
These changes
Yeah.
are
That's right.
nothing.
And reduced the mana cost of that as well from 75 to 55. So all good things
These-
for Baka here.
They
Yeah, I
didn't
think
do
the big
anything
thing
to
is
Baka.
Eat Minion was part of his kit.
These
It didn't
changes
feel
didn't
kind
do
of as fluid as it needed
anything.
to in terms of being used, and so now it's kind of more rewarding.
Oh
He can eat more often without
my
worrying about the mana cost so
gosh.
much. He can eat right before his fight
These
starts.
changes
and
are so
dog
bad. They don't do
fight
anything to the
goes.
Especially because he
game.
has to eat those minions to get his
Yeah.
Regurgitate to a full level
And
as
his
well.
passive
so.
as well. So
Okay. Next up is Chiron.
Oh, let's
No,
see what
a
they
lot of
can not
people
do to
had- A lot
Chiron.
of people felt he was just too safe and too sustainy as well was the big thing,
Yeah.
I think, here. So we've looked at trying to hit some of these things. Herbal medicine, multiple instances of healing no longer stack, but instead they refresh the duration.
yes.
So you're not getting
Awesome,
constant
cool.
health over and over.
You
It's just like
slightly
refresh
change that.
it once more time. And Masterful Shot, we've also taken a hit. Not in terms of damage, but cooldown has now been increased from 14 to 16, so an additional 2
seconds.
seconds on being able to use that ability.
Woo!
Should make it so like when you're flying away as Apollo, you don't die as often. There's a big key there. Shouts to Reels who died during that.
That was a
World
hot
That
play,
Championships.
was that was a
That was
very
really cool
that
to
was a very
watch.
hot play.
That was amazing. If he would have, I don't think he realized it though, because he could have got to base and survived. Guan Yu, next one up as well. We increased his movement speed from 365
What
to
are these
375.
changes? It's
Wow,
like
he's
they
getting
got
fast. He's even
bored
a
and just
horse,
wanted to
he's
do
getting faster.
nothing.
And then also Cavalry Charge, we had a bug here, which
Yeah.
was fixed a bug where Cavalry Charge won't go on into cooldown if Capri revives him in the middle of it.
Yep.
So it wouldn't. So it used to be available to be used again.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And so we fixed it.
Oh god.
That's what we do.
That's good.
These changes
And now,
are
ladies and gentlemen,
nothing.
we're on to the next god. This is the change you've all been waiting for. You know which one I'm talking about. It's changes to Hades. Hades.
What are they doing to Hades?
Death. When you die, you go to Hades and he controls you. He's the Lord of the Underworld. He's a great person.
What is he
has
doing?
Great times at being the Lord of the Underworld. Silences, ridiculous amounts of sustain. Such a brute force, tanky option, but he's got so much damage in his kit. He is finally, guys, a mage.
Yep.
A mage.
Yeah.
Hades is a
It
mage.
took us a while, guys, but we did it.
And
He's
there's
amazing.
also no stat changes that come with that. He's literally
Nothing
just-
changing.
Nothing's
They
changed.
just
got a
can't-
job.
You know, it's one of those things that we've resisted for a while. 'Cause I think there was something
These
fun about
changes
him
are
being a Guardian in
stupid.
Legacy. But when you really looked at how he was played, how most people built him, where
His role in the game.
his role in the
just
game,
general, yeah.
he really fit in line with mages and with our tankier mages that we have. So it
They
really was a change that.
literally put him in a
You know, on the
different
surface
tier.
of it,
I'm
just
fucking
it cleans things up,
done.
especially
Needed
for
to
new
happen.
players. He's
I'm
very popular with
so
new players. It
done.
cleans up how they should be playing him. So.
Yep.
Next change, Carly. Ooh. Marked for death. Carly is now rewarded on kills or assists.
Yes.
Ooh. She now gets health,
Oh, it's
80%
like
of her maximum health
15% on
on a kill,
assists?
and 15% on an assist.
Wait, you get the gold bonus,
And
though.
you get increased gold bonus now from these as
That's
well, from 25%
Not
to
huge,
30%.
but decent
Yeah.
compared
So
to what
are
they
you gonna get the
said.
gold
Kills and
bonus
assists.
on assists
Yeah,
as well?
and so the assist will do
Wow.
the bonus
Collie's
on the
back.
assist gold that you get.
You
not
get
with the kill
15%
gold.
healing for an assist instead of 80.
I think that's a really good change.
So
So
it's-
Carly could be a little bit too strong.
You know, it's still going to be a little upsetting if you don't get the kill, you get the assist, but it's not as bad now. You still feel like you're
No.
earning something
We-
for
we
every
get
I'm
health
kill.
as
playing
well,
Kali,
right?
though.
So
I'll play
getting the
Kali
health,
now.
it's almost like
I'll
you
try
have
her.
mail renewal as Carly for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a weird way of putting it, without the protections and the health and stuff on it. But Carly's gonna get some love.
Yeah, you do
Capri,
get, it's kind of like Melody Dawn.
Capri's getting
Interesting.
nerfed. Good times. Rising Dawn, reduced damage reduction from 10 to 30% is now 5 to 25%.
That's needed,
across the
but
scaling. And Scarab's
not that
Blessing.
crazy.
We fixed a tooltip error at the stating the power.
I don't
And
care
we've
about
also
tooltip errors.
reduced the range reduced
go, high
from
res.
65 to
Go.
55. So it's not as easy to get it
Yeah.
over walls.
Tell me
and things
something
at the
valuable.
distance.
Yeah, I think what we're always concerned when we do that is do we make it kind of too cumbersome and take too much of the fun out in terms of saving people. But as we watch people play him, people use their dash a lot to close that
They do.
distance and get the protection off for the ultimate. So I think we're hoping this is a good change that's just going to make you have to play a little bit more close, a little bit more aggressive with him, and
I can
also
agree
make
with
it so that when you save
They just said
someone,
they only
don't get pulled
changed
quite
the
far away.
tooltip.
And I think that's the key because you could.
Oh, wait, so
use
they
it
did
max
actually
distance and then
change it.
Still use your charge.
It's a little
as
bit
long as you're
shorter.
Further away,
Woo!
where now it's like you've got to.
You might have to charge to get in. To
Exactly,
get the save.
just to
Exactly.
get in range, so you don't have that charge available. So Capri takes a couple of little hits there. Odin getting some love as well now. General
Odin,
increased his movement speed
667.
as well. We've
The 667.
given him some roller skates, and he's gone
You made
from
it 665.
365
No,
movement
not
speed
667.
to 375 movement speed.
God damn it.
However, we've also hit the Ring of Spears here. He can now freely move through his ultimate.
You can go through your
So
own
he
ring?
can walk through his own ring.
Yep.
And
Woo!
we've increased the
Yes,
duration to
Hi-Rez.
6 seconds.
Thank you.
So you can pin people in as well.
I will
Yes.
play Odin
That's a
again.
change there.
Let's
Is it just
fucking
the quality
go.
of life of him and be able to be like sort of, because he's sort of appeal more than anything else, the way he's playing.
Yeah, and so right now he can actually use that. Before he like way back in the day, he used
Mm.
it for the kind of walling effect. He leap out, and you can still do that, but he's kind of so incentivized to actually leap in that he often doesn't have that tool.
Okay.
And so now he can kind of use it again defensively. Wall
Yo, I'm about to
people off,
go
keep people out.
Assassin
And
Odin.
you could even use it as
Yes.
just a wall
Let's
as well.
fucking
You
go
have to try
auto
and
attack,
inside,
carry
you can,
Assassin
put him
Odin.
in the jungle,
We're in,
throw the ring
boys.
down in the jungle, and
We're
then
in.
walk away through it and pin off that area. Makes some sense of that. 6 seconds as well. Raven has also had a few little
We're doing
touches
a
to him since
Raven.
his, remake,
Yeah.
so to speak. Prana Onslaught reduced damage scaling from 95% to 80% first of all, so 15% reduction there.
Okay,
And
that's-
10-hand Shadow Fist increased the
They
cooldown
nerfed
from
Robin. Cool.
15
I don't know if he was
to
OP,
18
but
seconds.
cool. I'm
So
glad
not
they
gonna be
super
as
nerfed
potent, but
Robin.
still
Well, kind of
very
like
strong.
Yeah.
decently
You know,
nerfed
for that
Robin,
one, that
but
was an ability that
didn't touch String 10 or Bologna yet?
On it, obviously with the root, and it also
Questionable.
a lot of things. Yeah. So it's going to be a pretty
Odin
effective
up,
nerf.
LOL,
I think it makes sense to
LOL.
just nerf the cooldown there.
Thank you for the
so it can be
donation,
right
man.
sort of spot. Nemesis is the next one. Nemesis is getting some love as well.
Mhm.
It's a good patch so far.
I can play Odin
They've actually
again? I mean,
toughed that out,
Nemesis?
but God balance seems good. Scales of Fate, passive change. Nemesis holds the scales of balance. Hitting enemies with basic attacks reduce their physical or magical power by 4% per hit, while increasing
Okay,
her
they
own
added-
physical power by
they added
4%,
a
maximum
stack?
4 stacks.
Yeah.
So it used to be 3. If I
Oh,
remember
look at the
correctly.
cooldown.
It used
Was
to
that
be 3 and it functioned
They changed the old
differently
cooldown to
where it
7
kinda
now.
stole things rather than
Right.
she actually is now just
Oh
when she
my
hits, she
gosh,
gets
she's-
bonus.
Nemesis about to have a 40-second ult?
Yeah.
That's right.
A
so her
40
bonus now also works.
What is it, 40, 45-second ult? Oh my
It's gonna affect her
god.
juggling. So it just kind
I'm
of
playing
simplified it. As long
Nemesis
as she's hitting
again,
something,
boy.
she's getting that bonus.
Awesome. And on top of
Nemesis
that, we're
every
also going to hit her
game.
Divine Judgment. Oh, this is a good one as well. Her ultimate reduced the cooldown from 90 seconds to 70 seconds, so that's going to be up a lot more often.
Nemesis
to
every
shred through those
game.
tanks and steal those protections away.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Let's
Nemesis
fucking
done.
go.
What's next? Oh, I love this sheet already. I see Circuit, Solemn, Thor, guys. This is the sheet.
You
this is,
better
this
not
is the
touch
dream.
Sir Cat. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't fucking
Sir Cat.
do it. Don't
Why are we
do it.
nerfing Circuit?
Don't nerf Sir
I mean-
Cat now.
She's fast. She's mobile. She does the things.
Fuck you, Pon Pon.
She does everything. And some.
Pon Pon, don't fucking touch my Sir Cat.
I hate that.
Okay.
Okay, General, reduce the movement speed. Good start. From 380. She had 380 movement?
Yeah, she was vroom vroom.
She had 20. It's down to 370 though, guys, so that's come down. We've also hit a Deathbane.
Livable. I can deal with these
the
nerfs.
damage here, it looks like we've
They didn't
gone
nerf
for cooldown.
damage.
Yeah,
Is the
same
biggest
thing.
They didn't nerf
Deathbane
damage. We're
increased the
good.
cooldown from 10 to 12, so a 2-second increase on Deathbane. And her ambush increased the cooldown from 15 to 18.
We're good.
So she's not going to be
Slight
able to
nerf.
jump in, do all the
can deal
damage,
with it,
and jump
we're
out
okay.
again as effectively because her cooldown's going to take a little bit longer here.
Yeah, and I think we
We're
also
okay.
we kind of were a little bit more conservative in terms of like nerfing damage because crit's more expensive now. Cooldown reduction, which is one of her stats she relied on heavily, beads cooldown is kind of gone. So she was kind of already going to be adjusted down a little bit, so it wasn't too aggressive on this nerf.
And I think that's a big thing with the God balance in here, guys. You've got to realize that maybe some things that you wanted nerfed or
I'm
changed.
still playing
We have to take
Circuit.
the
We're
item to the player,
okay.
and that's what PTS is
Exactly.
all about here.
Didn't
'cause these
touch the
items should
damage,
make a
we're
big impact
okay.
in a lot of ways that we may not have expected.
Certainly. Yeah.
Speaking of that, though, Sol.
Nerf Soul into the
She's
ground.
also going to take a little nerf, and
Like
this is a
her
good
poo.
nerf too. We're just going to use a Stellar Burst and
Little
take the
nerf.
slow off it.
Little nerf.
It's a pretty big nerf.
huge
Why
nerf.
do you think it's such a big nerf?
It's a huge nerf.
That's
It
average.
makes it so that follow-up damage, confirmation
It's-
damage
yeah,
with the
it's much
ultimate
harder
with
to
basic
confirm damage.
attacks.
Okay.
It's
Average.
a lot harder to land if you're moving
Not too
slow
bad.
from Stellar Burst.
That's true, but I mean, Ratatoska, I mean, he had to buy items to do that sort of stuff because he didn't have anything.
Yeah, it was
He didn't
interesting
have
on
it.
Soul. You know, one of the things, there's lots of different places we could have probably nerfed her,
Mhm.
but we wanted to keep it. That
They didn't
she's
even
this
touch her
high range, that
damage
she has this
or her
ability
clear.
when she pops, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have the
But they
AP
nerfed her
penalties.
slow.
So rather than affecting that on her, and
Questionable,
keep her
guys,
fast
questionable.
and fluid, and really just
Questionable.
affect the CC.
What was the last one?
Just back to
Thor?
the-
Please,
Yeah,
just
make,
move
make
the
her have
Thor.
to be more
Move
accurate.
the
Makes
Thor.
sense. And the final change is going to be
Thor,
4 on this
what are you
page, which
doing?
is... Well, we've got a few
This is
changes.
the tooltip one.
Yes,
This is the tooltip one.
This
one.
is the
Tooltip.
tooltip one. Yes.
And this, well, we'll get to that bit in a second. This one, his passive, Warrior's Madness, has changed. That's gone from reduced physical power buff from 15 to 10.
Okay, the
so
nerf
he's not
passive
gonna
on
get as many
Thor.
free power buffs as
A
he
little
was
bit less
for just being
power.
a team
Yeah,
fight.
and I mean the big thing is, especially when there's earlier
That's like-
occasions around like mid harpies or something, he has a lot of people around him.
Still
and that
gonna
early
be
game
pretty
power is really
strong.
potent. Now it's toned back a little bit. It should be a little bit better.
And on this, we're going to have Tectonic Rift is the one that you were talking about here with the tooltip correction. First of all, increased cooldown from 17 seconds at all ranks. It's now 17 seconds.
What was it before?
Fixed an issue where it wasn't 17 seconds at all ranks.
So the tooltip said it was 17 seconds at all ranks.
And
it
And
wasn't?
as we went through to nerf it, we realized that it actually wasn't. And for probably hundreds of millions of matches, we
What?
haven't noticed.
hundreds of millions.
What the fuck was the cooldown on
Hey,
Thor?
at
I want
least
to
we're
find
owning
out
up to
now.
it, okay?
Exactly.
We're owning up to it, and we put it in the patch
What
notes.
was
We didn't
it?
just like skim over it here.
So,
They don't
no
say
one
what
knows.
it
Collectively
was.
as a
I gotta
community,
go
we didn't
find out
notice as well.
now.
What's
I
happening
wanna
is
know
it
what
was
the
actually
stun
reducing cooldown
actually-
per rank as you leveled it up.
Oh.
Is
A
that
what?
that's correct? Right?
Yeah, I
It's
believe
Down
it
to
was
what?
13 at max rank actually.
13!
And so we've corrected it to actually match what the tooltip said it was supposed to do. It
Okay.
stays 17 at all ranks, but it's also
Holy
a
shit.
hefty nerf.
That's
It's going to be a big
crazy.
because people are going to have to
I
deal
mean, if
with
you
that.
bought cooldown reduction, you were
Nerf
using
Thor,
TikTok.
boys.
Especially
Nerf
if you
him
had
into the
bees as
ground.
well.
Yeah.
You can
Let's
also start that way
go.
instantly as well. So, Tectonic Rift, goodbye, Sweet Prince. We knew you
Hell
well.
yeah,
And
fuck
on
you,
to the
Thor.
final page of the patch notes. Huzzah! You've probably been sat there for hours. You need a drink or the bathroom. You didn't want to mess anything else. Well, here we go. Vamana is the next one.
What
About
do
time the little guy
Vamana?
got some
Vamana's an
love.
assassin now. I
He's
can play him.
increased base movement speed as well from 365 to
Is that it?
380. Wow, he's gone to circuit speed.
Is that
Yeah.
fucking it?
Old circuit speed.
Yes.
And
Oh.
his Colossal Fury, his ultimate, is going to have an increased radius of damage in the ultimate
Oh.
from 12 to 16.
Yeah.
Not really too
Reasons
crazy.
for this? Is it because like he was
Average.
just hard to land this?
Yeah, so I mean, he's a character that needs to keep up with people, and often we've kind of had this balance
Average.
point where like we give him haste and fatalis on his ultimate, and then he's too strong.
Yep.
And so
Definition
the big
of
thing is we want him
average.
to keep up with people, and part of that is the movement speed increase. And part of that
Nemesis
is also
buff,
making it so that he can
I'll
actually
give
get
it to
people
you.
a little bit
Rest of these
further.
changes were
Makes sense. So
below
he's gonna,
average.
like, close the gap
If
a little bit. I
average.
can
In
understand that
between
one.
there.
Vamana in a good place, and now it's on to, oh wow, we hit Jing 10 as well.
Nintendo?
We hit Jing 10.
Please.
You guys must
Nerf
be
the
happy, like
damage.
everything that everyone
Nerf
complained
the
about. Jing
fucking
10
damage.
also got hit. First of all, Furious Raw got hit, adjusted cooldown from 15 to
Okay,
11.
they nerfed it.
used
They
to
nerfed
be.
the one.
Now it's
There we
14
go.
at all ranks. So
Didn't
that's
nerf the
quite a heavy
damage
nerf,
on
'cause
it,
it's been
though.
down all the way to 11.
But they nerfed the
3-second
cooldown.
difference is going to be at 14. Not touched the damage on
Okay.
it just yet, but we're just going to look and see if the cooldown makes the impact that we're looking for here.
They're nerfing the wrong damage.
On top of that, Hook Slam also got hit. Reduced axe damage from 30 to
By
90.
5?
It's now 25 to 85.
They
So a
nerfed it
little
by
bit of a decrease
5,
there
man.
throughout that, as well as the slam damage of that, because that was the first one. Now it's the slam part. 60 to 180
the
used to
one,
be. It's now
man.
going to be 50 to 170. So that's why I think why we're not hitting Furious Raw is because we're going to hit some damage
Yeah.
elsewhere. And the Sky Cutting
still
Axe has
strong.
also reduced cooldown from 14 to 15. So it's an increased cooldown
Yeah.
from 14 to 15 on
Still
Sky Cutting
strong.
Axe as well. So we're looking to bring Xing more in line, but try not to hurt him too much in his overall playstyle here.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, The final god to be balanced in this PTS run-through is Ymir.
I didn't touch fucking Ymir,
Yeah, he's
no.
getting an adjustment.
He's getting a big adjustment, especially after his play at Worlds. We all saw it on your screens, guys. You saw exactly how good Ymir was, and we could see this change. We could see this change coming if you watch Worlds closely.
Rework on Ymir. Rework.
General.
Rework.
Fixed an issue where he would T-pose on death.
Huge.
Monstrous.
Massive.
Almost as big as the Hades change.
There's no reason not to pick Ymir now.
Well, now you'll be happy, because like at least the death animation will look correct as you die. That's the big thing.
GG, man.
That is the first look, though, at the PTS.
Fucking G.
Just so you guys, we've been reiterating it throughout the whole show on purpose. Remember, this is our first look at PTS and the changes that could happen for Season 3. Some of this will hit live, some of it may be changed as time goes on, and there may be other stuff to be brought in as well as time goes on.
There's a lot of big features that we've hinted at or talked about in other videos that won't be in this PTS that will be coming in the next phase.
Awesome. And you guys probably would have messed around the PTS and be able to do that as time goes on. But this is our first look. We will be back with more as soon as there is more from you guys, because you guys have been grinding this for weeks right now to try and find this. I can tell because of how many patch notes there were to go over today. Is there any final thoughts you guys want to say before?
I'm excited to see what everyone does with it. I'm gonna probably be watching streams and see what the community says.
Give me 2 items you want to see people pick up because you think they're really good.
I'm curious to see how Spirit Desolation does. I'm also curious to see if we can make a Sheen size attack speed build work, especially around Soul Eater and Sheen size.
Oh. And what about you guys? Anything you're excited to see? Or you want people to test more than anything?
Yeah, I want people to test a lot of different things. Try a lot of different things. Don't try to just build what you used to. You know, try out the new items. Try out the new.
That's what PTS is for,
relics.
right?
Yeah.
These builds are gonna be nasty.
Try the new relics. Give us feedback. Let us know, and we'll definitely do updates. So that's the end of the PTS patch notes to see how it be, and we'll be back with more in the future.
In the future. GG. So the only things that caught my eye are all the item changes, and the physical damage item changes are huge, and then Nemesis change. Biggest fucking changes were those. Everything else, I mean, item changes were huge. Map is huge. The rest is average as fuck. But I don't know what builds will be. You probably won't see Season 3 builds go up until like 1 or 2 or 3 weeks after PTS is no longer PTS and it's live. So whenever this patch goes live, might usually be updated within like 2 to 3 weeks from there, for where we know. PTS is not up tonight. I will check it whenever it goes up. I'm gonna stream tonight, but if PTS isn't up, I'm obviously not streaming PTS. I have to go to the store and do some stuff, guys. So I will see you all then. Love you all. Thank you for watching patch notes. Look for me. What time is it? It's 7. Look for me at like 9:30. Look for me at 9:30 East. 2 hours from now, I'll be on streaming. Love you guys.